हाँ जी दोस्तों, क्या हाल है? अ वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग टू यू ऑल। क्या हाल है दोस्तों, क्या हाल है? हाँ जी दोस्तों, क्या हाल है? हाउ आर यू गाइस डूइंग? हे गाइस, गुड मॉर्निंग। क्या हाल है? बताओ, चलो चैट बॉक्स में बता दो सुबह सुबह उठ करके कौन कौन आ गया है यार। ये हु वेक्स अप एट 6:30 इन द मॉर्निंग? देयर इज अ मैसेज एट 6:30 इन द मॉर्निंग। गुड गुड पीपल, गुड पीपल। आर यू ऑल हियर? Fine, sir. What about you? Happy morning, sir. Happy morning. Very good morning. Very good morning. I am good, Sneha. Thank you. Guys, सबसे important question. The most important question. After our day before yesterday's class wherein we studied dividend, who went home and studied the chapter dividend? After we studied dividend, who went home and studied dividend? Come on, tell me. Tell me who went home and studied dividend. Come on, this is very important. Even if you didn't study, write down that I could not study, I did not study. I want to see your names and I want to understand who is reading. बोलो बोलो, कुछ तो बोलो, मुंह तो खोलो. हाँ, good Pooja, good Vanati, good Shriya. Yes sir, studied from module, very good. Me sir, I studied half. Rahul Kumar, please study full. Good morning sir, attending lecture in train, study dividend as revision. Amazing. Pooja PS says I studied but I didn't study fully. Why? डाउट्स तो तुम्हारे पूरे होते हैं, पढ़ाई तुमको आधी करनी होती है. रीड किया सर थोड़ा. गाइस, I had explained to you. Classes, why do you think that the results are not 100%? Why do you think that the results are not 100%? Why do you think that not everyone clears intermediate? Mr. Anurag Jha, happy birthday. Many happy returns of the day. Guys, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that you will have to go home and study, guys. Otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, things will not work out. Things will not go well. Please study completely what we studied that day. एक बात समझो. The thing that we studied that day, if you would have gone home and studied on the same day, you would have retained more than what you will retain if you study today or later. और पढ़ने में उतनी ज्यादा मेहनत जाएगी, पर कोई बात नहीं. What we will do, we will again quickly revise through what we had studied in the last class. We will just go through our notes also, and then probably you can go home today and you'll study. एक बार मेरे को बोलो सर आज घर जाके पढ़ूंगा. I promise to go home and study today. Come on, tell me in the chat. I promise to go home and study today. Come on. Come on. एक बार बोलो ना. Yes. This promise is less to me and more for yourself. Huh? Chalo. Archie, no queries in the morning, beta. We'll do it towards the end of the class. Okay, good guys. चलो, अब इतने सारे लोगों ने प्रॉमिस तो कर दिया, अब तुम जाकर के देख लेना. You have all promised. So many people have promised. So you go, Lokesh, Shivam. Oh my goodness. So all of you have promised. You have to go home and you have to study. You have promised. अभी शब्द जुबान की कीमत होती है भाई. Okay, guys. Chalo, let's start. What are we going to study today? Today we are going to first revise chapter 8, then finish chapter 8. Mostly before our break, we will be done with this chapter. Then we will take a break and then we'll come back and solve the question bank for this chapter, because this chapter, what has happened with this chapter is this chapter used to come for as high as 8 marks. Chapter 8 marks. It used to come for as high as 8 marks earlier, but abhi it has started coming for towards closer to 3 marks, 4 marks, or sometimes 2 mark ka bhi aata hai sir. The reason is that because we have given weightage to other chapters also, but at the same time कभी कभी ना बीच बीच में से झटके देने के लिए 4 मार्क के 6 मार्क के पूछ लेते हैं. सो वी विल हैव टू बी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर दैट. We will have to be prepared for that, and then we can move forward. Chapter 8, declaration of dividend. What had we studied that day, sir? What had we studied that day? Dividend. We had studied about dividend. What is dividend? Dividend was supposed to be defined in section 235. 235 says that dividend includes interim dividend. अरे डिवाइड तुमको डिफाइन करना है तो दे सेड दैट नो विल नॉट डिफाइन, विल से डिविडेंड इज इक्वल टू डिविडेंड इंक्लूड्स इंटरिम डिविडेंड. देन व्हाट इज डिविडेंड, सर? डिविडेंड इज merely distribution of your profits. So if you see definition, dividend includes interim dividend. Some important point, what is dividend? Dividend is a distribution of dividend. Now who declares final dividend, sir? So we know very clearly that final dividend is recommended by the board but declared by the shareholders at the annual general meeting. So final dividend is declared by the shareholders at the AGM by passing an ordinary resolution on recommendation of the board. The rate of the dividend, for example, the board recommended a rate of 10%. Now the shareholders can agree for either 10% or less than 10%, but they cannot agree for more. They cannot declare a dividend of more than 10%. So the rate of dividend declared by shareholders shall not exceed the amount recommended by board. Okay. Next, dividend percentage is what? Is a proportion of nominal value of the nominal value or face value. It is what? A proportion of nominal value or face value. What I'm trying to say is it is a percentage of nominal value. You remember I had told you face value 10 rupees hai, and then purchase price 2000 hai, market value 2500 hai. Which percentage will you take for dividend calculation? You will take the face value and not the purchase price or anything. Concept clarity check, sir. The best part of my notes are these concept clarity checks, because everything that can be made in the form of a question and question paper or in the form of MCQ is usually there in the concept clarity check. Number 1, board recommended 10% dividend. Can shareholder by passing unanimous resolution declare 12% dividend? Sir, board said that we will give only 10% dividend, recommended 10% dividend, but shareholder passed unanimous resolution. What is unanimous resolution? What is unanimous resolution? बताओ तो फटाफट. अरे उठो बताओ ना. What is unanimous resolution? Bolo, what is unanimous resolution? Unanimous resolution is basically resolution where 100% of the people present in voting approve a resolution. मतलब सारे मिलकर के बोले कि 12% dividend देना है, तब भी नहीं चलेगा. If board has recommended 10%, you can either give 10% or less than 10%, but not more than 10%. Okay. Second, this calculation we had already done, that to understand that the dividend is a percentage of face value or nominal value and not your purchase price. Now, what are the type of dividends that we studied? There are first 2 types of dividend. First, on the classification based on time of payment. So if you're giving, there is either a final dividend or an interim dividend. Now, what is final dividend? What is interim dividend? Final dividend is something which is recommended by the board and declared by the shareholders in the annual general meeting. But interim dividend is something which is recommended by the board and declared also by the board. मतलब board अपने आप में ही decide करके dividend दे सकता है. But however, interim dividend is subject to ratification by shareholder in the annual general meeting. मैंने तुमको समझाया था ना ratification का मतलब, याद है ratification का मतलब. So that is called as ratification. Now, for declaring an interim dividend, declared only when AOA permits the declaration, does not require any specific provision in article. Sir, अगर आप interim dividend declare करने जा रहे हो ना, तो you need to have a specific provision in your article. What will be the source of fund for your dividend? We know very well that the source of fund has to be past current year profit or the past year reserves that we have already have. Ratification is needed in case of interim dividend, but फाइनल डिविडेंड में तो शेयर होल्डर ही अप्रूव करते हैं, तो रैटिफिकेशन क्या का? रेट ऑफ डिविडेंड. व्हाट विल बी द रेट ऑफ डिविडेंड? सर, इन केस ऑफ इंटरिम डिविडेंड, जब साल के बीच में डिविडेंड देने की बात कर रहे हो, व्हाट यू हैव टू सी इज इन दिस करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर टिल द इमीडिएटली प्रीसीडिंग क्वार्टर, डू वी हैव प्रॉफिट और डू वी हैव लॉस? व्हाट डिड आई से? I said that in the current financial year, if you are declaring interim dividend, then इसके पहले जो क्वार्टर खत्म हुआ, उस क्वार्टर में प्रॉफिट था कि लॉस था? If in that particular quarter you have profit, then there is no restriction on the rate of dividend. But if in that quarter you have loss, if you have incurred loss during the current year up to preceding quarter, then that case dividend not to be declared at a rate higher than average rate of dividend declared by the company during the immediately preceding 3 financial year. पिछले 3 साल का डिविडेंड से ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए अगर लॉस हुआ तो. ये इंटरिम डिविडेंड का प्रोविजन है. सिमिलरली अगर लॉस होता है तो फाइनल डिविडेंड में केस आता है रूल 3 का, जो अभी मैं आपको बताऊंगा, जो उस दिन भी मैंने आपको बताया था. इन दिस केस the rate recommended by the board cannot be increased by the members. Ab revocation of dividend, one very important point, sir. What happens, you'll have to understand what happens is, you will have to understand what happens. Where is your dividend ka notes? Where is your dividend ka notes? Interesting. You'll have to search for it. चलो वापस एक नया खोल लेते हैं. Guys, are you with me? On a scale of 1 to 10, how sleepy are you? बोलो, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sleepy are you? Okay. So now guys, listen to me very carefully. Dividend, what I'm saying, dividend is what? Basically, there are final dividend, interim dividend. Now what happens is when you declare a dividend, when for example, Hindustan Unilever declares a dividend now, it is a good news or bad news? What do you think? If a company is giving dividend, is it a good news or a bad news? Sir, generally talking from the market point of view, it is a good news. Okay. Now what company used to do earlier was, they used to recommend dividend कि भैया डिविडेंड ले लो, डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर कर दो, और उसके बाद डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर हो जाता. शेयर होल्डर यूज्ड टू डिक्लेयर डिविडेंड, एंड आफ्टर दैट दे यूज्ड टू नॉट पे द डिविडेंड. Saying, "Arey, we don't have money," or "We were thinking whether or not we should give." So there was a clear-cut law that was made after that, which said that, boss, if you have declared the dividend once now, you cannot revoke it. Revoke as in, तुम मना नहीं कर सकते. See, if a dividend has been recommended by the board but not declared, then in that case you are anyway not going to pay it. But if a dividend has been declared, then it is like a mandatory thing. You will have to pay it, and there is no way that you can go back. There is no way that you have to go back. So revocation of dividend is not allowed. Cannot be revoked with the once declared cannot be revoked. This is for final dividend. But in case of interim dividend, it can be revoked with the consent of all the shareholders. डिक्लेयर डिविडेंड कर रहा है, बट सारे शेयर होल्डर्स अगर अग्री कर जाएंगे, क्या बात है यार, 0,000 -3 -4 -500, क्या बात है. फुल एक्टिव सर, माइनस इंफिनिटी. Oh my goodness, that's the best one. Janisha. Swati saying weather is awesome and your class अमेजिंग कॉम्बो. इसको कहते हैं मौका भी है, दस्तूर भी है. सर, वी आर योर स्टूडेंट्स, वी कांट स्लीप. ओके 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 ओके, मेरी बात सुनो, अभी आओ, थोड़ा ध्यान दो, तुम पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दो थोड़ा. सुनो, now the dividend that you have declared shall be deposited in a separate bank account, scheduled bank account, within 5 days. Will you give me 1 moment? I'll make you revise the whole dividend का timeline. Let me just find out that chart. Where is that chart? इतनी मेहनत से मैंने चार्ट बनाया था, कहां गया वो चार्ट? Where is that chart? I am not able to find it. I had made such a good charts for dividend. You remember? ओफो ओफो, कोई बात नहीं, फिर बना लेंगे, हम भी बना लेंगे. गाइज 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 चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. नाउ वी विल टॉक अबाउट डिविडेंड बेस्ड क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ डिविडेंड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ नेचर ऑफ शेयर्स. First we saw there was preference shares and then equity shares. Preference में cumulative, preference में non-cumulative. You just have to understand the concept. Cumulative मतलब क्या? Cumulate होता रहता है. Every year you will have to pay your dividend on preference shares. If you don't pay preference on dividend on preference shares, it will get accumulated and it has to be paid in the next year's dividend gets accumulated. The arrears due to insufficient of profit will be payable from future profits. In future, you will have to pay the money. Unless this dividend is paid in full, no dividend is payable to equity share. This is very important. If you have cumulative preference shareholders, unless you pay their dividend in full, you will not be allowed to pay dividend to whom? To equity shareholder. But in case of non-cumulative, hai to de do, nahi hai to mat do. Dividend is payable only in a year of profit, no accumulation of profit. Holder is not entitled to be paid arrears of dividend out of future years. That is, your right to dividend expired if not declared in any year. For example, financial year 21-22, if no dividend was declared, then in that case, your right expires. But in case of cumulative dividend, it gets cumulated. And what is equity shareholder pay dividend? You already know that. Equity shareholder pay do not enjoy any preferential right or dividend on repayment of capital. उनको preference shareholders के rights को satisfy करने के बाद ही equity shareholder को क्या मिलता है? Dividend मिलता है. Point is what? You will get dividend only after payment to preference shareholder. Now, coming to the concept that will come in exam, 123, which talks about declaration of dividend. 123, which talks about declaration of dividend. Guys, from where can you declare dividend? There are 4 sources, I would say. First of all, current year profit. Second, profit of past year, which has been kept as reserve. Third, both A and B. Fourth, any money which has been given by the central government or state government as what? As a guarantee that they had given earlier, then in that case, that money will be given out as dividend. These are the 4 sources. But please note that whatever profit you take now, please reduce your depreciation from that. And how will you bring out the depreciation? Whatever is written in schedule 2, that you will reduce as depreciation. Guys, someone is saying, sir, I think you forgot to save. I didn't forget to save. OneNote में save करना ही नहीं पड़ता है. It gets saved by default, but I don't know how and what happened. Okay. Okay. Now, next. Provided that while calculating the profit, exclude 2 things. When you are calculating this profit, you will have to exclude 2 things. First, unrealized gain, notional gain, revaluation asset, or any change in carrying value. If you are changing the amount of your asset, if you remember, I told you your asset in the books is 1 crore rupees. But in market, if you go and sell today, that land is worth 50 crore rupees. So what, you will distribute dividend? Kya? No, boss. If you actually sell that land, then that is a different thing. But how will you distribute profit if you have not sold that land? Paise kidhar se aayenge? Okay. Now, transfer to reserve. This is a question which was asked in exam. Listen to me very carefully. Transfer to reserves matlab kya? Whenever you are declaring a dividend, company, you have an option. It is your discretion. What did I say? Discretion. मतलब क्या? तुम्हारी मर्जी. मतलब क्या? तुम्हारी मर्जी. Your discretion. It is an option for you how much amount you want to transfer to reserve, and whether or not you want to transfer to reserve, it is your discretion completely. Now, first of all, can capital reserve be used for payment of dividend? What is capital reserve, sir? Capital reserve is again a specific reserve. But please understand that law only allows you to use free reserves and no other reserve. For example, debenture redemption reserve, deposit repayment reserve, ye sara you cannot use. So capital reserve cannot be used. Only free reserve can be used for dividend. Okay. Sir, carried over previous losses and depreciation not provided in previous year has to be set off against current year profit before declaration of dividend. अगर आपका पिछले 10 साल से लॉस हो रहा है, आज पहला साल है जब प्रॉफिट हुआ है, तो पिछले 10 साल के लॉसेस जो है वो इस साल के प्रॉफिट से पहले एडजस्ट करोगे, then you will see whether you have profit or not to declare dividend. Okay, so your past losses and depreciation will have to be adjusted against current year profit. Third, capital profit are not earned in normal course of business, hence not available for distribution of dividend. This is one important point wherein I want to take you a little further on my land example. I said that land you had in your books for 1 crore. Now you went and sold it for 50 crores. How much did you earn? You earned 49 crore. Should you use that amount for payment of dividend? Law says no, boss. See, only those profit which you have earned in ordinary course of business, that you use as your dividend money. Matlab kya? If I am into business of trading this mouse, Okay, I purchase and sell this mouse. This is my trading business. Now, if I've earned any profit out of selling this mouse, that I can use for declaration of dividend. But in my business, I had this property. This property, if I'm selling, then that is a one-time event. That is an extraordinary event. That is not ordinary course of business, and hence that amount will not be used. But sir, if there is a company called Loda Developers. There is a company called Loda Developers. Now in that Loda Developers, their daily business is to purchase property and sell property. उनका ये actual में काम नहीं है, but I am giving you an example. If their daily business is to purchase properties and then sell properties, will that amount also be not used for dividend, distribution of dividend? अरे बॉस, वो तो उनका ऑर्डिनरी कोर्स ऑफ बिजनेस है ना. जमीन खरीदना और बेचना, बिल्डिंग खरीदना और बेचना तो उनका रोज का काम है. It is their ordinary course of business. In that case, if it is your ordinary course of business, then use that money. Okay. Okay, sir. We got you. We got you, sir. Next, what is the next point? Rate of dividend. Rate of dividend, very important, guys. देखो, if there is profit, then boss, we don't have any problem. तुमको जितना dividend देने का दो, तुम्हारी मर्जी. But in case there is a loss, then we will talk about interim dividend also and final dividend also. Interim dividend in case of loss in recent quarter, board may declare interim dividend during any financial year from closure of financial year till holding of AGM, provided that in case if the company has incurred loss during the current financial year. देखो, interim dividend साल के बीच में अनाउंस होता है. मैंने आपको HUL का दिखाया था. HUL का क्या दिखाया था? HUL का मैंने आपको एक वो दिखाया था वेबसाइट में, एक पेज where it was written HUL had declared dividend on 19th October 2021 also. So when you are declaring a dividend between the financial year, you can declare so. But in case if the company has incurred losses during the current year, till the end of the quarter immediately preceding the date of declaration of interim dividend, such interim dividend shall not be declared at a rate more than average dividend declared by the company during the immediately preceding 3 financial year. Okay. Now, sir, that was for interim dividend. Interim dividend में एक ही condition है भाई, rate. तुम्हारा rate should be less than preceding 3 financial years का average. But if you are talking about final dividend, see, I have written something called as very important rule 3, which talks about declaration of dividend. Rule 3, which talks about declaration of dividend out of reserves in the event of inadequacy or absence of profit in any year. A company may declare out of free reserves subject to the fulfillment of following 3 conditions. सबसे पहला, your rate should not be more than average of past 3 financial year. The total amount that you can draw will not be more than 1/10 of paid up share capital plus free reserves. और ये जो draw भी करोगे ना, उसमें से आप सबसे पहले क्या करोगे? आप उसको set off करने के लिए utilize करोगे जो amount आपने draw किया है. जो आपने ड्रॉ किया है उससे करंट ईयर का लॉस को व्हाट यू विल डू, यू विल सेट ऑफ दी करंट ईयर का लॉसेस, एंड उसके बाद जो बैलेंस बच रहा है आपके रिजर्व में, इट विल नॉट बी लेस देन 15% ऑफ दी पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल. सो यू विल हैव टू से कितना विथड्रॉ कर रहे, कितना बैलेंस बच रहा है. ऑल दीज थिंग्स विल हैव टू बी सीन इन केस ऑफ फाइनल डिविडेंड, ओनली इन केस इफ यू डोंट हैव इनएडिक्वेट और एब्सेंस ऑफ प्रॉफिट. सर, इनएडिक्वेट प्रॉफिट मतलब क्या? अरे 500 रुपए का प्रॉफिट आया बुक्स में, 500 रुपए कोई प्रॉफिट होता है क्या? वो बस नाम का प्रॉफिट है. इट इज inadequate profit. Or absence of profit मतलब क्या? There is no profit at all. Okay, but one important point is that this rate wala point, this sub rule, you see this rate wala point, this sub rule shall not apply if by any chance you have taken a printout of this notes. See, if you have not taken a printout of this notes, I have updated a fresh and updated version this morning. अभी मैंने 7 बजे आई हैव अपडेटेड अ फ्रेश वर्जन बिकॉज उसमें लास्ट की 2-3 सेक्शन मैंने और थोड़े अपग्रेड किए हैं. बट इफ यू हैव नॉट टेकन अप, इफ यू हैव ऑलरेडी टेकन अ प्रिंट आउट, व्हाट यू डू इज यू कैन मार्क ऐसे करके, व्हाट यू कैन डू इज यू कैन टेक दिस स्टार एंड यू कैन मार्क ऐसे, ताकि आपको मेहनत नहीं लगे, आपको नेक्स्ट टाइम आसानी से दिख जाए दैट दिस सब रूल शैल नॉट अप्लाई इफ द कंपनी हैज नॉट डिक्लेयर्ड एनी डिविडेंड इन ईच ऑफ द 3 प्रीसीडिंग फाइनेंशियल ईयर. अगर आपने 3 फाइनेंशियल ईयर में डिविडेंड कभी भी डिक्लेयर नहीं किया है तो आपको ये प्रोविजन एप्लीकेबल ही नहीं होगा. समझा? प्रदीप, क्या एग्जाम्पल दीजिए दोस्त. इसको तो अपन ने घुस करके कर लिया था पिछले क्लास में. We had taken examples and done it in the previous class. If you didn't understand or if you did not attend, abhi after this class in the second half we'll be doing question. We'll pick one question only for you, Pradeep. Only for you. Okay. Now, whatever amount you have declared as dividend, you'll have to deposit it in a separate bank account within 5 days of declaration. Now, a dividend that has been declared will be paid by the company either to the registered holder or to his order or to the banker. मतलब क्या? When you are declaring a dividend, whosoever person whose name appears in the register of member, उसी को dividend दोगे, or someone to his order. To his order मतलब क्या? If a dividend is due to me and I order the company, that company you give it to my brother, then the company will give it to my brother. Then after that, what did we read? Sir, dividend, when you are declaring dividend now, you will have to pay it in cash only. You'll have to pay it in cash only. Cash as in what? You cannot give bonus shares or you cannot give right shares in lieu of dividend. So dividend has to be paid in cash only. When I say cash, it means you can pay in cash, you can pay via check, you can pay via some other electronic clearing system mode. But you cannot pay in the terms of bonus shares or right shares. Okay. Now, can a company issue bonus shares in lieu of dividend? No, dividend can only be paid in cash. Can a company pay dividend via bank? Bank account से dividend pay कर सकते हैं? Absolutely yes. Cash doesn't means hard cash. Hard cash मतलब क्या? रोकड़ा नहीं. It means cash, check, dividend warrant or via any electronic mode. Okay. Sir, what is dividend warrant? I had explained to you in the last class also. Dividend warrant is what? If HUL wants, HUL will send a piece of paper to me. Will send a piece of paper to me, that is a dividend warrant. Now this piece of paper, when it reaches to me, I'll take this piece of paper to the bank and bank will give me hard cash. Or bank will give it to me in my account, whatever it is. That is, this piece of paper is called as warrant. Okay. Now, sir, this point which I had not covered in the last class, which was asked in exam once, एक बार मेरी बात सुन लो, very easy. Okay. A company which fails to comply with the provision of section 73 and 74, हम आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे जब तक आप ये नहीं बताओगे section 73 क्या है, section 74 क्या है. What is section 73 and what is section 74? जिसको याद है बता दो, दिमाग लगा सकते हो, दिमाग लगा के बता दो. Those who don't remember, go back, look at the pages, see what you have written in your notes, see what you have written. If you have taken a printout of my notes, see what is written in the printout of that notes and come back to me. Tell me section 73 and 74. Come on. जाओ जाओ जा करके देखो जिसको याद नहीं है. गाइस कैसा करते हो यार, ऐसा कैसा चलेगा. सर सेक्शन मैंने आपको बोला था, सेक्शन 73 and 76 are the most important section of this particular chapter. Section 73 talks about deposit from your members. OR पास करना पड़ेगा, सर्कुलर इशू करना पड़ेगा, आपको सर्कुलर इशू करने के पहले रजिस्टर करवाना पड़ेगा, न्यूज़पेपर में ऐड करना पड़ेगा, वेबसाइट पे लिस्टिंग करनी पड़ेगी, उसके बाद आप सर्कुलेट करोगे, डिपॉजिट एक्सेप्ट करोगे, डिपॉजिट के साथ डिक्लेरेशन लोगे. you'll take a declaration that the money that they are investing in our deposit is not a borrowed money, and after that there are so many filings that you'll have to do. So section 73 talks about acceptance of deposit from public is prohibited unless except as per this chapter, and if you want to do it from members, these are the pointers. Maximum amount of deposit that you can accept, 35% of paid up share capital plus free reserves. Kya Malik? Oh Malik, guys. Or what was section 74? Section 74 was a small repayment of deposit ka topic tha, which was a transition provision, which I had told you is a transition provision. Transition of provision, repayment of deposit accepted before the commencement of this act. Coming back, so if you have failed to comply with the provision of section 73 and 74, the company shall not, so long as such failure continues, declare any dividend on its equity share. So if you have accepted deposit in contravention of this section, or if you have failed to repay your deposit, तो जब तक deposit नहीं repay करेगा, profit क्या बांट रहा है भाई, पहले deposit तो repay कर. So law says that if you have failed to repay, comply with provision of section 73 and 74, we will not let you distribute any dividend to the shareholders. Guys, I'll tell you something. Whenever you're, and this is applicable for all the subjects of your intermediate, okay? you will have to understand that this game is all about repetition. The more you repeat something in your mind, the more you keep reminding yourself, the more you'll be happy in the long run. For example, in your first chapter, you must have read the definition of government company. What is a government company? Government company is a company in which there is an investment by the central government, state government, or partly by central government or partly by state government, and also includes a company which is a subsidiary of a government company. Section 2 subsection, sorry, section 2 clause. Bolo bolo, section 2 clause. Anyone? I'll give you time. I'll give you time. Section 2 clause. Guys, come on. ये तो प्रॉब्लम ये लैग होकर के आता है. चलो 245. So 245 government company. Now you must have understood that definition very well when you were reading once. But understanding very well will not help you write in the exam. It may to certain extent, but beyond that, if you have to bring perfection in your answer, what you will have to do is you will have to keep revising. Whenever you get a chance, you come across the word government company, you're like, मैं जाके revise करूंगा. I will keep treat your brain गजनी. बोले मैं सबसे पहले भूल जाता हूं. दुनिया में कोई भूले ना भूले, मैं सबसे पहले भूल जाता हूं. So what you will have to do is, whenever you see something, you're like, I had read this somewhere. Take a moment, stop, go back, find out wherever you had studied it, and then by heart that again. The more you keep reminding yourself, the longer you retain things. Okay, hence whenever you get a chance, for example, I'll tell you, there were instances when I was doing my intermediate. So you used to attend classes from morning till night. So what used to happen was, towards the end of the day, you used to start ऐसा, you're going to bed and तुम्हारे दिमाग में पूरा आज के दिन का, अरे ये पढ़ा वो पढ़ा ये पढ़ा वो पढ़ा चल रहा है. So sometimes what I used to do was, when I was in the bed, I used to revise. For example, our law teacher had made us by heart this particular section. So we by hearted that section along with him in the class. Now in the night when I'm going to sleep, I'm just trying to recollect कि याद आ रहा है क्या यार कि deposit का definition क्या था, deposit का definition था, या फिर charge का definition क्या था, any interest on lien created on the property or assets of the company or its subsidiary or any of its undertaking, or includes a mortgage. There was a definition of charge. Now I'm thinking on that same night whether I'm able to recollect it or not. If I am not able to recollect it, I'll tell you, there were instances I was sleeping on my bed, the lights were off, but I used to wake up once, I used to turn on the light, एक बार definition देख लिया, हाँ अच्छा ये था, अच्छा याद नहीं आ रहा है तेरे को, लाइट बंद किया, सो गया. That is how you will have to, because guys, गए वो दिन 12th के पेपर खत्म. 12th was also manageable, CPT was also manageable, but this is intermediate. You will learn so much about yourself. You'll learn that how you're now into a professional course. This is not your Kabir Singh. देखा है Kabir Singh? कहता है कोई एरा गहरा सर्जन नहीं आ मैं. मतलब he is not some कोई एरा गहरा आशिक नहीं आ मैं, सर्जन है वो. He is saying that I am not a random person. I am a surgeon. I am a big deal. Similarly, intermediate is a big deal. It is not a joke. Okay. So you will have to figure out new, and you'll have to keep learning new tactics. Okay. Now coming back, too much ज्ञान sir, too much ज्ञान. और आपको और ज्ञान दूंगा बाद में, अभी मेरी बात सुनो. So the point is that if you fail to comply with the provision of section 73 and 74, you will not be allowed to declare dividend unless you rectify your mistakes. Then the next important point, guys, are you ready? What is section 8 company? Section 8 company is नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सर आप नया चैप्टर पढ़ा रहे हो कि रिवीजन ही करवाओगे पूरा? आज तुम सुन लो ना, अच्छा ये पढ़ ही रहेंगे. सेक्शन 8 कंपनी. व्हाट इज सेक्शन 8 कंपनी? सेक्शन 8 कंपनी इज अ नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कंपनी. द कंपनी हुज ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू प्रमोट एजुकेशन, सोशल, इकोनॉमिकल, रिलीजियस कॉजेस, एंड द प्रॉफिट इज नॉट टू अर्न मनी. Okay, so now when a NGO earns money, when an NGO gets revenue, receipts, and उस पे जो expenses आते हैं, जो नेट प्रॉफिट अगर कुछ बचता है ना, तो द एनजीओ कैनॉट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट इट. वो ये नहीं बोल सकती मेंबर्स को हाँ लेके जाओ, घर लेके जाओ, प्रॉफिट कमाया हमने. दिस मनी विल हैव टू बी री इन्वेस्टेड फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ द एनजीओ, एंड हेंस there is a prohibition on distribution of dividend by an NGO or a section 8 company. So if you're a section 8 company will not be allowed to distribute profits. It will have to reinvest that profit. Section 8 companies are prohibited The word used is prohibited from paying any dividend to its members. Its profits are intended to be applied only in promoting the object for which it is formed. जिस काम के लिए बने हो उसको promote करो. Okay. Next, sir. Now section 124 unpaid dividend account. You know this provisions already. Now when your dividend is declared, first of all, within 5 days you will have to do what? Within 5 days you will have to do what? You'll have to transfer it to an account, a separate bank account that we studied until now. Then your dividend will have to be paid within 30 days of your announcement. If you're not paying dividend within 30 days, then within 7 days from the end of that 30 days, you will transfer it to an account called unpaid dividend account. So all the unpaid or unclaimed dividend will have to be transferred to this unpaid dividend account. If you are, guys, either if you are not paying the dividend within 30 days and it is the mistake of the company, then the company will pay 18% per annum ka simple interest. Now they have to transfer within 7 days. If they are not transferring within 7 days, they will have to pay 12% per annum ka simple interest pe penalty. Now once you transfer to unpaid dividend account, within 90 days of such transfer, you will have to create a statement. A statement wherein you will write all the details कि भैया ये बंदे हैं, ये इनका नाम है, ये इनका address है, ये इनका dividend है. These are the dividend that is outstanding. You will create such a statement and you will upload it on the website of the company and the website of the central or such other website as the central government will prescribe. Now you will keep the money in the unpaid dividend account for 7 years. You'll keep the money here for how many years? You'll keep the money here for 7 years. If anyone wants, he can come and claim his dividend during this period. He can come to the company and claim his dividend. But after the end of 7 years, if the money is still not claimed, then the amount will have to be transferred to IEPF account. What is the full form of IEPF, sir? एक बार अपने chat पे लिखना. एक बार जरा chat पे पूरा full form लिखना. Good. I'm so happy to see so many people participating here. So proud of you. Come on, guys. So IEPF में आपने क्या किया? You have deposited. बेटा इन्वेस्टर प्रोटेक्शन एंड एजुकेशन फंड नहीं है, इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन एंड प्रोटेक्शन फंड है. Please be careful. It is not IPEF. It is IEPF. Guys, just so you know, these are two different funds. There is actually a fund in the name of Investor Protection and Education Fund. It is under the SEBI Act. So we are not talking about that fund. We are talking about the fund under the Companies Act, Investor Protection, Education and Protection Fund, IEPF. मेरे को पहले बताओ, E पहले आता है कि P पहले आता है? Alphabetically E आता है ना, तो E पहले डालना, IEPF. Okay, now, so you will transfer to IEPF. Then when you transfer to IEPF now, for example, my dividend got transferred to IEPF. Very good. What I can do is, one second. For example, my dividend got transferred to IEPF. Very good. After this, if ever I want to claim my dividend, I can always go to IEPF with a form. I can go to IEPF with a form. IEPF, this is my money, and I can claim my money and I can get that money back. And whatever interest has been accrued on that particular share, that I'll be getting. Okay, so this is how the chart usually states. See, first of all, it has to be paid within 30 days of declaration. If not paid, then within 7 days, the total unpaid amount will have to be transferred to unpaid dividend account. Sir, although unpaid and unclaimed amount both has to be transferred, but the name of account is unpaid dividend account. Then you'll have to prepare a statement within 90 days of transfer. The statement will contain name, last known address and unpaid dividend amount, and it will be placed on website of the company and website approved by the central government. उसके बाद payment of interest on default. If the default is made in transferring to unpaid dividend account, UDA means unpaid dividend account, you will have to pay an interest of 12% per annum, and such interest accruing on such amount shall ensure to the benefit of the members. मतलब ये जो 12% है ना, जो benefit जो आपको interest देना है, वो members को transfer हो जाएगा. उसके बाद the claimant may apply for the payment of the claimed amount, apply to company concerned for payment of the money claim. इसको I will have to correct this language a little bit, but what it is trying to say is, whatever claiming, if you have to claim your amount, you can go to the company and you can say, company, this is my dividend, please pay me the amount. Now, transfer of unclaimed or unpaid amount, if it is unclaimed for 7 years from the date of such transfer, Sir, एक बार ना please be careful about where is that 7 years starting from. This date of transfer is important. Whenever you are transferring, उस दिन से 7 साल तक उस account में रहेगा. अगर 7 साल के बाद नहीं हुआ तो along with interest you will send it to IEPF. And when you go and give it to IEPF ना, you will fill a form that IEPF we are depositing so much of amount and इनका पैसा है. उसमें वो लिखेंगे शुभम सिंगल का 380 रुपीज है और 380 रुपीज में 7 साल का इंटरेस्ट मिला करके अभी वो 2000 रुपए हो गया फॉर एग्जांपल. सो दैट स्टेटमेंट दे विल गिव टू IEPF. Why, sir? Arey, because tomorrow if I go to IEPF and I say IEPF, give my dividend. IEPF should have some records, na? Ki boss, who are you, Shubham Singhal? Acha, what is your share number? And then I can check and I can make the payment. So you will have to submit a form. You'll have to submit a prescribed statement containing the detail of such transfer. And when you make the transfer, the authority shall issue a receipt. Kaun authority, kya authority? That we will look into it today. Now, transfer of shares to IEPF, this is a very important point, sir. Sir, not only the dividend amount, but for 7 consecutive years, if dividend on any share is not claimed, for 7 consecutive years, if dividend on any shares is not paid or claimed, in that case, even the shares get transferred to IEPF. क्योंकि सर कंपनी का तो शेयर है नहीं और शेयर होल्डर का तो शेयर है नहीं क्योंकि वो क्लेम नहीं कर रहे, तो शेयर ट्रांसफर हो जाते हैं IEPF को. और मतलब क्या, मेरा जो 20 शेयर है HUL का, okay, HUL declares dividend every year. Now every year there is a dividend, but if I'm not taking the dividend for 7 years consecutively, then in that case even my share will go to IEPF, because central government is saying that boss, if 7 years someone is not claiming now, probably it does not exist anymore. In that case that share should be transferred to अपना IEPF, so that central government के पास पैसे, central government को ऐसा लगता है आन दे भाई, आन दे तू और आन दे, वैसा हाल हो रखा है. Okay, now all shares in respect of which dividend has not been paid or claimed for 7 consecutive years shall be transferred by the company in the name of IEPF along with the statement. Now, note that this section is talking about transfer of the shares itself and not the unpaid amount of dividend. The transfer of unpaid amount is already discussed under subsection 5. I'll tell you one thing about my notes, one thing which is very special about my notes. ये जो bracket, ये जो pointers होते हैं ना, these are basically subsections also. So you have a section, you have subsection, so you have the absolute flow of your Bayer Act. Okay, now coming back. Provided that any claimant of the shares transferred above shall be entitled to claim the amount from the IEPF with such procedure as may be prescribed. मतलब आप जाकर के IEPF से claim भी कर सकते हो अपने shares वापस. Okay, sir, in explanation, this explanation by the way is included in law itself. In case any dividend is paid or claimed for any year during the said period of 7 consecutive year, the shares shall not be transferred. मतलब क्या सर, 7 साल में से अगर 3rd year में या 4th year में या कोई भी एक साल भी अगर पेमेंट हो गया ना, तो आपका 7 consecutive year का लिंक टूट गया. तो as long as it is not 7 consecutive years, the shares will not be transferred. Sir, if the shares is in physical form, what will company transfer to IEPF? This, let's say that this is not a very relevant question right now because 95% of the shares have already become what? It has already become dematerialized. But however, if still there is a share in demat form, I think what company can do is company can cancel that share certificate and issue a fresh share certificate in the name and then give it to IEPF. ठीक है? Now, punishment for contravention of this section. अगर आपने deposit time पे नहीं किया, अगर आपने payment नहीं किया, in that case, company and officer in default will be liable. Company will be liable for a penalty of 1 lakh rupees and for a continuing default 500 rupees per day up to a maximum of 10 lakh rupees. But officer in default will be liable for a penalty of 25,000 rupees plus 100 rupees per day up to a maximum of 2 lakh rupees. Basic penalty है सर, याद कर लो. अब आ जाओ सर section 125 पे जो अपने क्लास का आज नया पॉइंट है. Sir, let me show you something. Acha. हाँ. Do you see my screen? Do you see something on my screen? This is Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority. Sir, हुआ क्या था बताओ? मैं बताता हूं आपको पहले हिंदी में हुआ क्या था. हिंदी में मतलब in soft language, in English language. Listen to me very carefully. What had happened was central government thought कि अरे boss, we keep on getting so much of money. Let's do something. Let's create a fund. Okay, let's create a fund. What we will do is we will let people know that what all money has to come into this fund, and now then after that when we have money in this fund, where will we utilize this money? Let's also define that. They called this fund Investor Education and Protection Fund. As the name itself suggests, investor, एक तो सबसे पहले क्या है, इन्वेस्टर का दो चीज कर रहे हैं, एक तो एजुकेट कर रहे हैं इन्वेस्टर को और दूसरा प्रोटेक्ट कर रहे हैं. नाउ हु आर दीज इन्वेस्टर्स सर? These investors are those investors basically who invest in the stock market. So for creating general awareness amongst investors, आपने बहुत सारे ऐसे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के एड्स देखे होंगे जहां पे वो कहते हैं कि बॉस इन्वेस्टमेंट्स आर सब्जेक्ट टू मार्केट रिस्क, इन्वेस्टमेंट कर सकते हो आप, इन्वेस्ट करो, एफडी करो, सेविंग करो, सारा जो आपको फाइनेंशियल नॉलेज फ्री में देते हैं ना, दैट इज इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन. और बैक एंड पे जो सेबी का लॉ होता है, जो बाकी लॉज होते हैं जो आपके इन्वेस्टर्स को प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन प्रोटेक्शन फंड इन जनरल स्पीकिंग, वेरी मच इन जनरल स्पीकिंग. बहुत सारे टेक्निकलिटीज हैं सर, सेबी का नाम यूज करके मैंने यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ी गलती कर दी, पर वो अपन फाइनल लेवल पे मैं आपको समझा दूंगा क्यों गलती कर दी. ठीक है, अब मेरी बात सुनो सर. Rekha says for transferring dividend we see 7 years and not consecutive 7 years. No, we see 7 consecutive years. We don't see 7 years, we see 7 consecutive years. 7 साल लगातार अगर आपने डिविडेंड क्लेम नहीं किया या पे नहीं कर पाए किसी मेंबर को, तो उसका शेयर ट्रांसफर कर दो. ठीक है. Now, what I'm saying is that they created a fund. Now, when you create a fund, what happens is money comes in, money goes out. So you need someone to manage that fund. You need someone to manage that fund, or you need someone to administer that fund. So in that case, for administering, you have appointed an IEPF authority. What is IEPF authority, sir? IEPF authority, आप समझ लो ऐसा एक authority बनी. In this authority, there are people. There is one person who is the chairperson. Okay. उसके बाजू में there is one person who is the CEO. उसके अलावा there are some smaller members. Now, the number of these members as per law cannot be more than 7. Members have to be less than or equal to 7. There can be maximum 7 members. Okay. तो ये बन गया एक IEPF authority. IEPF authority. भाई सुनो, जैसे कंपनी में, if you have seen, now someone is saying, बंद रेड्डी saying म्यूचुअल फंड सही है, इस इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन प्रोटेक्शन फंड का खर्चा. आई नो म्यूचुअल फंड सही है वाला, इट केम टू माई माइंड, बट म्यूचुअल फंड सही है is not what central government is promoting. Central government is not promoting mutual fund sahi hai. It is not coming out of investor education and protection fund. Mutual fund sahi hai, ek mutual fund ka association hai. In the name of AMFI, there is an association of mutual fund of India. Those people are collating expense and they are promoting mutual fund sahi hai, but central government is not promoting mutual fund sahi hai. But coming back, what I'm saying is, जैसे कंपनी में बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर होता है ना, जो कंपनी को मैनेज करते हैं, वैसे ये फंड में there is an investor education protection fund wherein there are some people who are managing this fund. Okay, so you have one chairperson, you have one CEO, and you have members, and the total number of members has to be less than 7. So sir, please understand that chairperson is also a member. Chairperson is also a member. So apart from chairperson, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members. So at any given point of time, आपको max 8 people can be there in this IEPF authority. Okay, this is a part of your syllabus, हाँ? Time pass नहीं कर रहा हूँ. This is a part of your syllabus, but it is max number. Minimum में क्या होगा सर? Minimum में chairperson होना तो absolutely mandatory है, CEO होना absolutely mandatory है, और member में तुम 3, 4, 5 member रख सकते हो, whatever you feel fine. Okay, now coming back to this fund, what is happening? Money is coming in and money is going out. Now we have to read what are the sources from which money will come in. For example, now we know only one source, that if a dividend has been unpaid, dividend अगर unpaid है for 7 years, अगर 7 साल तक unpaid dividend account में transfer हो गया, even after that for 7 years, if it is unpaid, that money will come to your investor education protection fund. But उसके अलावा there are 7, 8 other things that we will just study, and this fund will be then utilized for various purposes. So let's see here. This is investor protection fund. If you see here, read. ये देखो, corporate affairs की ministry Nirmala Sitharaman ji, and read this investor education protection fund. What is written? The IEPFA authority is entrusted with the responsibility of administration of the IEPF. IEPF का administration कौन कर रहा है? IEPF authority, making refunds of shares, क्या लिखा है सर? मेकिंग रिफंड्स ऑफ शेयर्स. आपको पता है आईपीएफ में शेयर्स चला जाता है. इफ डिविडेंड इज नॉट डिक्लेयर्ड फॉर डिक्लेयर्ड इज नॉट क्लेम्ड ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर शेयर फॉर 7 consecutive years, that money that sorry, what do you call that shares are transferred to IEPF. Now if shares are transferred to IEPF, if it was my share and I want to go to IEPF and ask to give my money back, I'll go to IEPFA authority whose responsibility will be to make refunds of shares, unclaimed dividends का return करना, matured deposits और debentures का return करना to investors, promoting awareness amongst investors and protecting the interest of the investors. ये काम है IEPFA का. The website is an information providing platform. फलाना 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 फलाना. Okay. Now, coming to this services. Sir, I am opening some forms of Investor Education Protection Fund. Do you see this IEPF form? I just want you to see one form. There is something called as Register for Filing Web IEPF 5 form, which is basically saying that application to the authority for claiming unpaid amount and shares out of Investor Education Protection Fund. Sir, when you want to claim back your shares or when you want to claim back your unpaid amount, for example, unpaid deposit amount, then you will file this form. Let me just explain some more things to you and then we will visit this again. Okay, Abhinay, I didn't get you. I'm sorry. जनरली लोगों का फर्स्ट नेम लास्ट नेम आ रहा है, आपका लास्ट नेम फर्स्ट नेम आ रहा है. Okay, listen to me. Sir, let me first explain you something. What is the money that will come into your IEPF account? What do you think? What kind of money should be transferred to IEPF account? What money will be eligible to come to IEPF account? I'll tell you a lot of money that can be transferred to IEPF account. सबसे पहला, what are we discussing? We are discussing that IEPF account, there is this IEPF fund, Investor Education Protection Fund. What all money can come into this fund? Then the first thing that I'm saying is government grants. Government grants. Sir, when central government or state government, what they do is they generally make specific, when they make budget, you know, budget is being made by central government every year. When they make budget, they keep a specific amount alag ki this amount we will use for investor protection. For example, central government in the budget, they decided we will use 500 crore for what? For investor protection in education. So that amount will be transferred to IEPF. So this is where the money is coming from, first source. Second, apart from government grants, there can be donations by the government. गवर्नमेंट जाकर के डोनेशन भी कर सकते हैं कि भैया ये लो डोनेशन, तो डोनेशन जो है वो भी जा सकता है और वो जाएगा आईपीएफ में. उसके बाद यू नो दैट इफ देयर इज एन अनपेड डिविडेंड अकाउंट, unpaid dividend account में if then an amount is not claimed for 7 years, then that money will also go to IEPF. उसके अलावा sir, you will have to understand that if there are deposits that were matured, and for example I remember that 3-4 years ago there was a company and that had come up with a debenture. Okay, now I invested in this debenture, but that time I was doing articleship, so I invested only like 2,000 or 3,000 rupees in that particular debenture. Now if this 2,000 or 3,000 rupees I invested then, but I noted it down somewhere, but now if I don't remember that money and the company is searching me to repay this money, but I used to be in Mumbai at that point of time, but if I'm not in Mumbai right now, how will the company pay me that money? So company will not be able to pay me that money, और मेरे को याद ही नहीं है, I don't remember, and company is not able to reach out to me. उस समय जो मेरा नंबर हुआ करता था वो मेरा नंबर है ही नहीं अभी. So what to do, guys? In that case, this unmatured deposit which remains unpaid, that amount will also go to IEPF, similar to what happens in case of dividend. Matured deposit ho या matured debenture ho, whatever. If a company has to repay something, but the company is not able to repay because he is not able to find that guy, that money will go to IEPF. Guys, did you understand? So sir, what I'm saying is, if your unpaid dividend account ka balance, your deposits or deposits that have matured and not repaid, or your debentures that have matured but have not been repaid, ये कहाँ चला जाएगा? ये आपके IEPF account में चले जाएगा. उसके अलावा sir, what else? If there is an application money, what money? Application money. Application money as in what happens is, for example, if there was an IPO, what is IPO? Initial public offer. Okay, so for example, Life Insurance Corporation came up with an IPO. LIC came with an IPO. Lot of people applied. So when you apply, the application money concept is not relevant today because अभी IPO अलग तरीके से apply होता है. But for example, the face value of the share was ₹10. LIC said that to apply, you will have to pay a ₹1 ka face value. Okay, so you made a payment of application money of ₹1. Now, when you made a payment of application money of ₹1, what happened was, समझ लो later on you were not allotted that shares. आपने apply किया था, but आपको allot नहीं हुआ. So if shares are not allotted to you, what happens? Your money is refunded. But they tried to refund you the money, but your bank account was not accepting the money, or some reason the company was not able to repay the money to you. In that case, company, don't keep the money with yourself. It is not your money. Just take that money and give it to central government. किसमें दोगे sir? आप IEPF में दे दोगे. So any application money that you have received, which has not been repaid, that amount you'll give to IEPF. उसके अलावा sir, any disgorged amount. सर ये डिस्गॉर्ज्ड क्या होता है? सर डू यू नो हर्षद मेहता स्कैम? नहीं सर, वी डोंट नो हर्षद मेहता स्कैम. आई विल टेल यू व्हाट हैपेंड. हर्षद मेहता स्कैम इज बेसिकली, आई विल नॉट टेल यू आई विल नॉट गेट इनटू डिटेल बिकॉज अपने को सेबी नहीं पढ़ना है. सेबी पढ़ते हैं फाइनल में तो उसमें अपन डिटेल में जाते हैं. Now Harshad Mehta scam में the basic that you need to know is Harshad Mehta is someone who did a stock market का scam. Okay, stock market में he did something because of which he earned a lot of profit. So Harshad Mehta, when he did a scam, for example, let's say that he earned 5,000 crore rupees out of that scam, and using that scam, Harshad Mehta bought some buildings, he bought some land, he bought some cars and everything, and then he had a lot of cash and a lot of money in his bank account. So these are the things that Harshad Mehta had. So when India got to know about this scam, an order was passed that everything that he has will be seized and disgorged. So disgorged means what? जब्त कर लेना. Disgorged मतलब क्या? जब्त कर लेना, छीन लेना, अपने पावर में ले लेना. So whatever bank में money he has or whatever cash he has, that will be disgorged. So all these things which has been disgorged will be deposited to IEPF account. So IEPF has disgorged amount, but this disgorged amount specifically talks about section 38. What is section 38? We don't need to get into that, but you just have to understand that if any amount has been disgorged, तो जब्त अगर कर लिया तो कहां डालोगे उसको? तुम उसको IEPF अकाउंट में डाल दो भाई. ओके, अब सर नेक्स्ट, the old companies act that we have, the old companies act 1956 that we had, उसमें भी IEPF अकाउंट हुआ करता, IEPF फंड हुआ करता था. उस IEPF फंड में जो बैलेंस था, the balance that was there in the old IEPF fund will also be deposited to your new IEPF fund which is created under this particular companies act. ओके, उसके अलावा सर जैसे आप मेच्योर्ड डिपॉजिट, मेच्योर्ड डिबेंचर की बात कर रहे हो, similarly if you had preference shares and you redeemed that preference shares, and when you redeemed such preference shares, the money is not being repaid to someone for 7 years. Sir, for example, if company issued preference shares, ठीक है, कंपनी ने प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स इशू किया मेंबर्स को, अब इन्होंने बदले में पैसे दिया था. अब जब कल को आप रिडीम कर रहे हो, when you are redeeming this preference shares, you will have to repay this money. So now you are trying to find the shareholder to repay this money, but वो shareholder मिल ही नहीं रहा है आपको. In that case, if for 7 years you are not able to redeem that money, then you will give this money to the IEPF account. और sir, few more smaller points because there are so many points. First एक बार समझ लो, फिर अपन उसका कुछ अच्छा सा समरी बना लेंगे तो उससे याद रह जाएगा. क्योंकि अभी तक तो एग्जाम में I don't think I have not seen a question that wherein they have asked all these points together, but I think broadly if you remember some of the points also you're able to manage the answer. The next point is that, listen to me very carefully, sir, there is something called as fractional shares. Something called as fractional shares. Listen to me very carefully, okay? Now what happens is, for example, I'll explain a little bit about merger का transaction. Sir देखो, इतने बड़े सेक्शन के, इतने बड़े सब सेक्शन के, इतने सारे पॉइंट्स के एक पॉइंट में आपको समझा रहा हूं. सो आई कैन ओनली एक्सप्लेन टू यू वंस बिकॉज द एग्जाम्पल विल बी अ लिटिल लॉन्गर. प्लीज पे योर फुल अटेंशन. इफ देयर इज अ कंपनी A लिमिटेड एंड देयर इज अ कंपनी B लिमिटेड, ओके, A लिमिटेड का इफ यू गो टू द मार्केट एंड यू सी द प्राइसेस, द प्राइस ऑफ शेयर इज ₹100 per share. B limited ka if you go to the market and you see the price is ₹10 per share. Okay, so if you want to buy a share of B Limited, you can buy for 10 rupees. If you want to buy a share of A Limited, you will buy for 100 rupees. Now what happened is A Limited wanted to acquire B Limited. A Limited B Limited को acquire करना चाहता था. तो A Limited वाले लोग B Limited के पास गए, बोले हमको तुमको खरीदना है, कितने में बिकोगे? तो उन्होंने बोला we will get sold for 100 crore. Okay, we'll get sold for 100 crore. So A Limited said done. We'll pay you 100 crore. But how will we pay you 100 crore? We will pay you 100 crore by issuing shares of A Limited. So 100 crores we have to pay you. So my share is 100 rupees. So we will issue you 1 crore shares. We will issue you 1 crore shares of A Limited. These 1 crore shares of A Limited, we will issue to whom? To shareholders of B Limited. ये जो shareholders है ना B Limited के, इनको हम बोलेंगे भैया तुम ना अपने B Limited के shares बेच दो, हम तुमको अपने बदले में A Limited के shares दे देते हैं. This is something that will happen. But think from A Limited point of view, there is also a different chance that you are saying instead of 1 crore shares, what will happen is you are saying that to B Limited, every shareholder of B Limited, we will issue 10.5 shares of A Limited. Instead of this kind of purchase consideration, you are saying that to every one shareholder of B Limited, we will give 10.5 shares of A Limited. For example. Now, sir, point is that fractional shares मतलब क्या? Shares and fraction, जैसे कि आधा share, पौना share, 0.5 share, 0.25 share, 0.75 share is not allowed. So what you do is, instead of these 0.5 shares, what you will do is you will make payment in cash. तो आप वो शेयर होल्डर को बोलोगे कि भैया मैं तेरे को 10 शेयर्स इशू कर दूंगा और ये जो 0.5 शेयर्स है ना उसके बदले में तेरे को 50 रुपए पर शेयर इशू कर दूंगा. ठीक है सर, समझ गए? तो जब ये 50 रुपए है ना, ये आपका फ्रैक्शनल शेयर पे कंसिडरेशन है. बट ये 50 रुपए लेने अभी कोई लोग आएंगे भी नहीं. मतलब अगर मेरे पास बी लिमिटेड का शेयर था और मेरे को ए लिमिटेड से 50 रुपए मिल रहे, वो बोलेंगे तुम यहाँ पे अप्लाई करो, ये फॉर्म भरो, ये करो. मैं बोलूं भाई रहने दे, रख ले तू. So that kind of 50 rupees that is not actually being paid to shareholder, that will have to be transferred to what? That will have to be transferred to IEPF. तो यहाँ पे वही लिखता है फ्रैक्शनल शेयर्स का सेल प्रोसीड्स. जैसे कि एक मर्जर अमेलगमेशन होता है, जब फ्रैक्शनल शेयर होता है तो उसके बदले में अगर आप रुपीज में पेमेंट कर रहे हो, दैट सेल्स प्रोसीड इफ इट इज नॉट पेड फॉर 7 years, 7 साल तक अगर वो पेमेंट नहीं होता है तो आप उसको ट्रांसफर कर देना. ठीक है सर? अगर नहीं समझा तो सिर्फ इतना समझ लो कि भैया सेल प्रोसीड क्या है, फ्रैक्शनल शेयर्स क्या है. whenever you have to issue less than one share is not allowed in India. यूएस वगैरह में होता है फ्रैक्शनल शेयर्स, तो इंडिया में नहीं अलाउड है. तो इंडिया में आपको कंसिडरेशन देना पड़ता है. यूजुअली दैट अमाउंट इज वेरी लो एंड हेंस इट डजंट गेट क्लेम्ड बाय द पीपल, सो दैट अमाउंट यू हैव टू ट्रांसफर टू IEPF. डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड? और सर उसके अलावा और भी कोई अगर अदर अमाउंट है, दोज अमाउंट्स यू विल ट्रांसफर टू whom? You will transfer to your IEPF account. These are the 9 amounts that we just studied, which will be transferred to IEPF account. Sir, एक बार देखो, ये जो गवर्नमेंट ग्रांट है, लेट मी मेक इट CG ग्रांट, और जो डोनेशन है, लेट मी मेक इट डोनेशन बाय CG और SG और एनी अदर कंपनी, एनीवन, कोई भी डोनेशन दे रहे हैं. So sir, what are the things that gets transferred to IEPF? Any grants, any donation, whether made by central government, state government or any company, any amount lying on the unpaid dividend account for more than 7 years, matured deposit, matured debenture or redemption of preference shares which has not been repaid for 7 years, application money जो repay नहीं हुआ है, disgorged amount हो गया, पुराने कंपनीज एक्ट में IEPF का पैसा हो गया, फ्रैक्शनल शेयर्स हो गए और सच अदर अमाउंट हैज टू बी प्रिस्क्राइब्ड. ये सारे पैसे कहां जाते हैं सर? ये IEPF में जाते हैं. अब सर ये जो पैसे मिल करके, द मनी दैट हैज ऑल कम इन दिस वन बकेट व्हिच इज IEPF अकाउंट, व्हाट विल यू यूज दिस फॉर सर? आई विल टेल यू द बिगेस्ट यूज. मैं एक्चुअली इसको यहां बना लेता हूं. All the money that you have deposited in this bucket, in this IEPF bucket, what will you use this for? So the biggest use will be, the first biggest use will be refund. Boss, now the unpaid dividend account का पैसा जो था आपने IEPF में डाल दिया, पर कल को आके कोई आईपीएफ से क्लेम भी तो करेगा ना, तो जो क्लेम करना है, क्लेमेंट आएगा, उसके क्लेम को देने के लिए काम आना है पैसा, सबसे बड़ा काम तो वही आना है। तो जो डिविडेंड अकाउंट, डिविडेंड क्लेम करने आ रहे हैं, डिपॉजिट का अमाउंट क्लेम करने आ रहे हैं, प्रेफरेंस शेयर का अमाउंट क्लेम करने आ रहे हैं, डिबेंचर का अमाउंट क्लेम करने आ रहे हैं, ऑल दिस पीपल विल हैव टू बी रीपेड, एंड दिस रिफंड इज द मेजर एक्सपेंस दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर आईपीएफ विल सी। सो पैसे आए और आपने वो रिफंड कर दिया, ठीक है। दूसरा, उसके अलावा यू विल प्रमोट एजुकेशन एंड अवेयरनेस। आप इंटरेस्ट, इन्वेस्टर्स का इंटरेस्ट प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए यू विल प्रमोट एजुकेशन एंड अवेयरनेस। उसके अलावा सर, लिसन टू मी वेरी केयरफुली, what had happened was in Harshad Mehta case, in Harshad Mehta scam, these land, building, cash and everything that you had collected, you put it in investor education protection account. But what you also will do is, Harshad Mehta scam mein the biggest people who lost money were shareholder. जो बहुत बड़े बड़े कंपनीज के शेयर होल्डर थे, दोज आर द पीपल हु एक्चुअली लॉस्ट। सो दीज मनी दैट यू हैव डिस्गॉर्ज्ड, जो आपने जब्त किया है, you can also use it to repay to the shareholders or such person who had incurred losses. मतलब सर, जिनका नुकसान, जिन्होंने कमाया उनसे पैसे लेकर के जिनका नुकसान हुआ उनको दे सकते हो आप। तो जब जिन्होंने कमाया उनसे पैसे लोगे तो वो आपके इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन प्रोटेक्शन फंड में डिपॉजिट कर देना। उसके बाद अगर कोई ऑर्डर आया, इफ ट्राइब्यूनल, who tribunal, family court, if family court orders that such disgorged amount has been repaid or distributed amongst investor, then in that case you will distribute the disgorged amount. किनको दोगे सर पैसा? जिनका नुकसान हुआ और अगर ट्राइब्यूनल ने ऑर्डर पास कर दिया वैसा, ठीक है। उसके अलावा सर, देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज क्लास एक्शन सूट। व्हाट इज क्लास एक्शन सूट सर? मतलब मान लो जैसे हर्षद मेहता स्कैम में, और इन केस ऑफ इन्फोसिस, व्हाट हैड हैपेंड वाज, देयर वाज नॉट वन पर्सन हु लॉस्ट मनी, देयर वर crores of people who lost money. So in such case what happens is, instead of that crores of people going to the court and each one of them filing cases, मतलब एक एक करके जाके केस फाइल करने की जगह आप क्लास एक्शन सूट करा सकते हो, मतलब बल्क में मिलकर के केस फाइल कर सकते हो। लेकिन कभी कभी क्या होता है ना, when you are filing cases in class action suits, then in that case sometimes you don't have money to file those suits. So the legal expenses for such class action suits can be borne by this particular fund. इस फंड से वो पैसे निकल करके आ सकते हैं सर। उसके अलावा कोई भी और अदर पर्पस के लिए आप पैसे यूटिलाइज हो सकते हैं सर। पूरा थियरी है सर, पूरा थियरी है, रट्टा बस, रट्टा रट्टा रट्टा। लिसन टू मी वेरी केयरफुली, कम टू माई समरी नोट्स, take a moment and first of all read this particular page, point number 2. I'm taking a break, I'm stopping for a minute. You will have to read this A to N point. These are the amount that will first come into IEPF. These are the points that will first come into IEPF. जब read करके हो जाए, when you are done reading, do say done 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 बोलो। तो once you are done with that, then we will see how will this money be utilized for. Come on, read. मैं भी पढ़ रहा हूं, तुम भी पढ़ो, मैं चुपचाप पढ़ रहा हूं, तुम भी चुपचाप पढ़ो, फटाफट, सोने का नहीं है भाई। Yes, proud of someone who said section 37 class action suit. Very good. Come on, first credited. डन का मैसेज देना जब हो जाए। ओके गुड। हाँ मोहम्मद, पता है भाई, मैंने मार्क किया है। फ्यू क्लॉजेस आर रिमेन फॉर फोकस ऑन व्हाट इज बीइंग टॉट। फॉर व्हाई आर यू वरीड अबाउट व्हाट इज नॉट बीइंग टॉट? जितना पढ़ाया वो तो याद करने की कोशिश करो दोस्त। Few clauses are remain for explanation. I'm explaining. I have marked here. Do you see? I have made 3 circles. उसके अलावा I have explained everything. D, the amount in general revenue account of the central government which had been transferred to that account under section 205 of the Companies Act 1956. Sir, in Companies Act 1956, there was also an account called as general revenue account. So I'll tell you something. In Companies Act 2013, there is IEPF. In Companies Act 1956, there was IEPF. Also in Companies Act 1956, there was a general revenue account. What were coming to these accounts, what money were coming is not relevant for us. Both the money will be transferred to our नया वाला Companies Act account. So यहाँ पे this is what is written. Both the money is being transferred to our, अगर आप देखोगे यहाँ पे दोनों जनरल रेवेन्यू अकाउंट के भी पैसे आ रहे हैं और पुराने आईपीएफ अकाउंट के भी पैसे आ रहे हैं। उसके अलावा द इंटरेस्ट और अदर इनकम रिसीव्ड आउट ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट मेड फ्रॉम द फंड। नाउ सी, everywhere that you are getting money from, now when you have money in this account you will also invest this somewhere। कहीं एफडी कराओगे, कहीं सेविंग में कराओगे, तो इन्वेस्ट करके आपको इंटरेस्ट या अदर इनकम मिलेगा। that interest or other income will also be included in this fund. That is what is written. And then interest accrued on the amount received from clause H2I. This is the same thing. If you have received any application money, matured deposit, वो सारी चीजें, तो उस पे जो interest है वो भी आपके fund में जाएगा। So basically every investment or interest that you earn out of investing the money of the fund, all of them will be credited to your fund. Okay, this is point number 2. Now इसका मैंने अपने notes में I've also prepared a summary का summary. Now you also read point number 3. Where will this money be utilized? Relatively easy है, फटाफट पढ़ो, डन का मैसेज दो। Come on, fast. श्रुति, जो आप पूछ रहे हो ना वो थोड़ा ओपन टू इंटरप्रिटेशन है, we will discuss about that. डन। ओके गाइस, अरे डन करो ना। चलो गुड. Sir, what is CD Pro? CD Pro is basically I have tried to make a shortcut. जैसे आप देखो, C is class action shoot, okay. D is disgorged amount, P is promotion, R is refund, and O is others. Sir, point C समझा दो, ये वही वाला है दोस्त. Point C is basically Harshad Mehta say you take money, that is disgorged amount, and when you see people who had invested in the stock market, they have incurred losses, so you distribute the money to them. So Robin Hood है एक तरह से, Robin Hood Pandey, taking from good people, taking from bad people, giving to good people. So if IEPF there is some disgorged amount, Harshad Mehta scam हुआ तो आपने पैसे लिए, तो वो पैसे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को तो है नहीं. The right thing to do is to distribute it to the people who have actually faced losses because of that particular act. So that is the point C. ठीक है, उससे ज्यादा अपन समझा सकते हैं, but it will take a lot of time and it will not be worth because we'll have to restrict somewhere. So that is the point. Now okay. Now we will have to constitute a C. Thank you very much.
Recording
Due
in
to your way of
progress.
explanation. No, it's my duty. Yeah, it's my duty. Hello, can you see me? Guys, can you see me? Can you see me guys now? Screen देख सकते हैं क्या? हाँ, चलो. अरे वेरी बैडली, शांत हो जाओ, शांत हो जाओ. चलो guys. Okay, now chairperson CEO member, listen to me very carefully. You'll constitute an IEPF authority who will have chairperson. Who is the Minister of Corporate Affairs? I was asking you, who is the Ministry of Corporate Affairs? Who is the Ministry of Corporate Affairs? Sir, Nirmala Sitharaman ji is the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and hence you will have a chairperson, you will have Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Now you understand, in every ministry there is a secretary, जो ministry के नीचे होते हैं, जो जाकर के ministry को direct report करते हैं. तो निर्मला सीतारमण जी के नीचे जो secretary होगा ना, that secretary of Ministry of Corporate Affairs will become the member of chairman, will become the chairperson of whom? Will become the chairperson of whom? Will become the chairperson of the IEPFA. उसके अलावा एक CEO होगा. CEO कौन होगा? Appointed by CG. और member कौन होगा? Members होंगे जो भी आप appoint करोगे, जिसको भी, which shall not be more than 7. सर, ये ex officio क्या होता है? वैसे तो I could have told that, एक बार याद कर लो ex officio क्या होता है. मतलब ऐसे ही याद कर लो वर्ड, आपको समझने की जरूरत नहीं है, ऐसा मैं आपको कह सकता था. बट मैं आपको एक बार समझाता हूं ex officio क्या था. जिसको समझ आता है वो एक बार समझ लेना, ठीक है? लिसन टू मी वेरी केयरफुली. ओके, स्क्रीन प्रेजेंट कर रहा हूं, डोंट वरी. यू कैन सी माई स्क्रीन यार, क्या कर रहे हो? ओके guys, can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now? Okay, so I was saying that what is ex officio. एक बार ex officio समझा रहा हूं, समझ लो. They said that IEPFA बनाएंगे, ठीक है? उसमें एक ऑफिस होगी जिसमें चेयरपर्सन बैठेगा। अब चेयरपर्सन में कौन बैठेगा सर? दे सेड हु विल सिट इन द चेयरपर्सन ऑफिस? व्हाट दे डिड वाज दे जस्ट लिंक्ड इट टू मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स का सेक्रेटरी। They just linked it to Ministry of Corporate Affairs का secretary and they said that जो भी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स का बंदा होगा ना, वो नेचुरली यहां पे चेयरपर्सन बन जाएगा। आज यहां पे अगर अंकित अगर यहां पे इफ अंकित इज द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स का सेक्रेटरी, सो अंकित विल बी चेयरपर्सन। बट टुमारो इफ अंकित इज नॉट देयर एनीमोर, टुमारो इफ पूजा becomes the secretary of Ministry of Corporates, then Pooja will naturally become the chairperson because this chairperson का कुर्सी is linked to Ministry of Corporate Affairs के secretary का कुर्सी। That is the meaning of ex-officio officer. Ex-officio मतलब क्या? Your position is linked to your position in some other office. So as long as you are secretary in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, you can come and sit in my kursi, chairperson ka kursi. As soon as you get removed out of this office, you cannot come and sit in my in chairperson का office. That is the meaning of ex officio. Ex officio मतलब क्या? आपकी कुर्सी किसी और कुर्सी से लिंक्ड है। जब तक आप मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स के सेक्रेटरी की कुर्सी में बैठे हो, तब तक आप इस कुर्सी में बैठ सकते हो। जैसे ही ये कुर्सी में इंसान बदलेगा, ये कुर्सी में भी इंसान बदल जाएगा। दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एक्स ऑफिशियो। बाय वर्च्यू ऑफ योर ऑफिस ऑफ सेक्रेटरी ऑफ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स, यू विल बिकम chairperson of this particular fund authority. Now what was I saying sir? ये authority के पास आप क्या करोगे? IEPFA के पास आप जाओगे and you'll say IEPFA, तुमको HUL ने मेरा शेयर और मेरा डिविडेंड बेचा होगा, जरा मेरे को वापस करो। IEPFA will verify and it will return your money. So administration, appointment and everything will happen as per the rules. Now resources, central government may provide in IEPFA such officers, employee and other resources as may be prescribed. मतलब क्या? इनकी ऑफिस कहाँ होगी, इनके ऑफिसर्स कौन कौन होंगे, ये सारा चीज सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट आपको प्रोवाइड करेगा। दिस अथॉरिटी शैल एडमिनिस्टर द फंड and maintain separate accounts and other relevant records in relation to such funds as may be prescribed after consultation with Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Sir, what is CAG? Have you ever heard of CAG? Tell me you have ever heard of CAG. What is CAG? Comptroller and Auditor General of India. CAG क्या है सर? कंट्रोलर एंड ऑडिटर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया। CAG इज समथिंग, CAG अभी के लिए आप ये समझ लो, कंट्रोलर एंड ऑडिटर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया इज अ डिपार्टमेंट जो गवर्नमेंट के सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को ऑडिट करते हैं। गवर्नमेंट की जितनी भी कंपनीज है, गवर्नमेंट के जितने भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस है, IEPF हो गया, IPF हो गया, इन लोगों का सबका ऑडिट कौन करता है? कंट्रोलर एंड ऑडिटर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया। अबेंस मतलब अबेंस, पूजा पूछ रही है अबेंस। अरे गाली नहीं दे रहा हूं भाई। अबेंस मतलब क्या? अबेंस मतलब होल्ड। जनरली द वर्ड इज कीप इन अबेंस मतलब होल्ड। अभी आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट से पूजा, प्लीज स्टिक टू doubts related to what I'm teaching right now. मेरी बात सुनो. What I'm trying to explain is there is something called as Comptroller and Auditor General of India. CAG is someone who does audit of all the government entities. So even for IEPF, you will maintain accounts and you'll have to do audit and you will have to prepare annual report. These are the 3 A's that is true for everyone, right? Now for accounts, how will you maintain? You will accounts you will maintain in the manner as may be prescribed by CAG. Then after that accounts का audit होगा. Audit कौन करेगा? Audit CAG करेगा. Annual report कौन बनाएगा? Annual report आपका IEPFA बनाएगा. So these things, then after your accounts have been audited, the audited accounts plus your annual report, this you will have to give to central government. Why central government, sir? Because IEPF is constituted by central government ना. एक central government का एक fund है ना. तो you will prepare this accounts and audits and you'll give to central government. Now central government will go and place this before both houses of parliament. I'll write both houses of parliament को, I'll write both hop, दोनों houses of parliament के सामने रख देगा. सर सुनो, central government के ना बहुत सारे अलग अलग ऐसे फंड्स और अलग अलग डिपार्टमेंट्स होते हैं. जैसे कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का IEPF हो गया, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की जितने भी कंपनीज हो गए उन सबका अकाउंट्स और ऑडिट्स. तो इन सब लोगों का क्या होता है ना, ऑडिट होता है और इनका एनुअल रिपोर्ट बनता है. because whatever performance has happened, you will have to show. These things are submitted to central government, and central government then submits these things before both the houses of parliament. Both the houses मतलब क्या? लोक सभा और राज्य सभा. लोक सभा और राज्य सभा के सामने you will go and place these documents so that they can discuss, they can see which company is making profit, which fund is making profit, which fund is spending a lot of money. All these things you'll see. Under SEBI Act also, आगे सीए फाइनल में अभी नहीं, SEBI Act, there is an act called SEBI Act. Under SEBI Act also there is a fund called SEBI Fund. This fund is also under central government, and similar things happen for SEBI Fund also. So what I'm saying is, Comptroller and Auditor General of India will do the audit, and annual accounts बना के, उसका annual report बना करके, it will be placed before the central government. Now sir, this IEPF जो ये authority है ना, we have given them the power to spend money for carrying out the objects of IEPF. मतलब जो refund करना है, जो हमको investor को educate करना है, for these objectives, whatever money you want to spend, you spend. We have given the power to this authority. This authority मतलब क्या सर? ये लोग जो आपका चेयरपर्सन, सीईओ और 7 मेंबर है, इन लोगों को हमने अथॉरिटी दे रखा है. यू प्लीज स्पेंड द मनी. उसके अलावा यू विल गेट योर बुक्स ऑडिटेड, एंड देन अलोंग विद ऑडिट रिपोर्ट यू विल फॉरवर्ड इट टू सीजी, एंड देन यू विल आल्सो प्रिपेयर एन एनुअल रिपोर्ट जिसमें यू विल गिव फुल डिटेल्स, and then you will forward a copy of annual report to the CG. CG will place this annual report and audit report along with in front of each house of parliament. मतलब क्या? राज्यसभा, लोकसभा दोनों जगह आपका सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इसको प्लेस करेगा. Did you understand, sir? चलो. और अच्छा, पूजा ये वाला पूछ रही थी. पूजा साथ साथ में, चलो साथ साथ में. Guys, do you want to take a break or do you want me to finish this chapter? I'll take more 15 minutes to finish this chapter. Do you want me to take a break or do you want me to finish this chapter first? Bolo. Do you want me to give you a break or do you want me to finish this chapter first? Bolo. दो पूजाएं. दूसरी पूजा कहती है सर इट इज इंक्लूडिंग सीपी टोटल मेंबर्स बट यू सेड टोटल 8. आई नेवर सेड टोटल 8 बेटा. I never said total 8. Your Neend said total 8. If you see my table, if you see my table, this is 1, this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are 7 members. CEO अलग है, CEO member नहीं है. There are 7 members. Chairperson is a member. If you see in my notes also, in bracket what I have written, in bracket I have written include chairperson. Have I written include CEO? Have I written include CEO? No, I have not written include CEO. I have written only person. Okay, so people are saying finish the chapter and then we will take a break. तो break में मजा आएगा. ठीक है, chapter खत्म हो गया. वैसे भी मैं तुमको खत्म कर देता हूँ. सुनो. Now next we have to read just 2 more sections. After this, what is wrong, beta? Okay, now we just have to read 2 more sections. Listen to me very carefully. One is 126, one is 127. What is section 126? Sir, very simple. समझना एकदम समझ आ जाएगा आपको. एक company है Reliance Industries Limited. That company has register of members. Register of members is what? List of all the shareholders. उसमें there is a guy whose name is Ramesh. Ramesh has his shares. Okay. Now Ramesh sold his shares to Suresh. Ramesh जो है उसने अपने shares सुरेश को बेच दिए. Okay. Now when you sell a share, when you sell your shares, you actually the pencil is not working. 1 second. When you sell your shares, you actually enter into an instrument. Instrument as in, this is called as transfer deed. You actually enter into an instrument. So now if Ramesh sold his shares to Suresh for say rupees whatever, and an instrument was entered into जिसमें रमेश ने साइन किया, सुरेश ने साइन किया कि भैया मैं तेरे को बेच रहा हूं, उसने बोला हाँ मैं खरीद रहा हूं. What you do after this is you take this instrument and you take it to the company. You take this instrument and you go to company and you are like, company, Ramesh has sold his share to Suresh. So can you remove Ramesh ka naam from the register of member and can you add Suresh ka naam to this register of member? रमेश का नाम हटा के सुरेश का नाम ऐड कर दोगे क्या? तो कंपनी ऐड कर देगी. ओके, बट नाउ इमेजिन अ सिचुएशन. व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इज अ कंपनी डिक्लेयर्ड डिविडेंड. ओके, अ कंपनी हैज डिक्लेयर्ड डिविडेंड और कंपनी के पास डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर करने वक्त एक ट्रांसफर डीड आ रखा है. ये जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट है ना, ये जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट है ये आ रखा है जिसमें उसने बोला रमेश के शेयर्स को सुरेश को ट्रांसफर करना है. नाउ द कंपनी इज कंफ्यूज कि बॉस ये डिविडेंड का अमाउंट किसको जाएगा, रमेश को जाएगा कि सुरेश को जाएगा? See, technically you know that a company is supposed to give the dividend only to registered shareholder. So the registered shareholder is who? Ramesh. But Ramesh is the registered shareholder, but you have an instrument which says that the shares are transferred to Suresh, so the dividend should actually be paid to Suresh. तो भाई दोगे किसको? Question है दोगे किसको? तो law says that this company will keep such, company will not issue dividend. कंपनी विल होल्ड दिस डिविडेंड. होल्ड दिस डिविडेंड मतलब क्या? 30 डेज के अंदर आप नहीं पे करोगे एंड यू विल देन ट्रांसफर इट टू अनपेड डिविडेंड अकाउंट. You will transfer it to unpaid dividend account. Till what time, sir? Till the time this shares are transferred in the name of Suresh. जब तक सक्सेसफुली सुरेश के नाम पे ट्रांसफर नहीं हो जाता, जब तक सक्सेसफुली सुरेश रजिस्टर्ड होल्डर नहीं बन जाता, उसके बाद यू कैन देन मेक द पेमेंट. रुक जाओ, रुको जरा, सबर करो, सुनो मेरे साथ. सर एक बार 126 पढ़ते हैं, ठीक है? लेट्स रीड 126 once. Section 126. Right to dividend or right shares and bonus shares to be held in abeyance pending registration of transfer of shares, notwithstanding anything contained in any other provision of this act. Sir, what is the meaning of notwithstanding anything contained in any other provision of this act? Sir, this line means overriding provision. हमने जो बोल दिया वो आखिर है, बाकी इस एक्ट में कोई कुछ भी बोले हम नहीं मानेंगे. Notwithstanding anything contained in any other provision of this act, this is called as, sir, overriding section. Overriding section मतलब क्या? This section dominates. This section overrides any other sections. Notwithstanding anything contained in any other provision of this act, where any instrument or transfer of shares has been delivered to any company for registration. क्या? Instrument of transfer मतलब जो हमने डॉक्यूमेंट बना के साइन किया था, has been delivered to company for registration and such transfer has not been registered by the company for some reason. अभी तक registration pending है, तो क्या होगा? तो सर सबसे पहले such company shall transfer the dividend with respect to such shares to unpaid dividend account. आप वो shares का dividend को पे नहीं करोगे, आप उसको unpaid dividend account में पे करोगे. But sir, imagine a situation. Something is wrong today. Imagine a situation. What is happening is, imagine a situation if in the example that I just gave to you, we are confused कि रमेश को देना है कि सुरेश को देना है. Company is saying कि बॉस मैं रमेश को दे सकता हूं. Why? Because Ramesh is a registered shareholder. पर मैं सुरेश को नहीं दे सकता. Company is confused. Now tell me something. If Ramesh is going to the company and saying in a paper that boss, I agree, please pay the dividend to Suresh. Ramesh is giving in writing to the company that boss, I completely give you the power, give the money to Suresh. मैं और सुरेश देख लेंगे आपस में, तू पैसे सुरेश को दे दे. In that case, company can go ahead and give the money to the transferee. So that usually what the company will do, वो उसको unpaid dividend account में transfer करेगी, dividend किसी को pay नहीं करेगी. But unless the company is authorized in writing by the registered holder to pay such dividend to transferee specified in the transfer. मतलब आप पे कब कर दोगे डिविडेंड? अगर आपको registered holder has given an authority in writing, Ramesh has given an authority in writing that you make the payment of dividend to Suresh, that is make the payment to transferee, then in that case company will make the payment. Otherwise company will put such amount in the unpaid dividend account. जब तक वो registration नहीं हो जाता पूरा पूरा, रमेश के नाम का शेयर सुरेश के नाम पे नहीं चले जाता. सर ये हो गया डिविडेंड के बारे में. इसी सेक्शन में, in this section on a separate note, we are also talking about issue of bonus shares or right shares. What is right shares, sir? Right share is if my shareholders are having one shares each and I want to give 1:1 का right shares. मतलब क्या? For every one share that they are holding, we are giving one more share. For every one share that they are holding, we are giving rights to buy one more shares. Now the question is, will you give that right to Ramesh or will you give that right to Suresh? Similarly, for bonus shares, will you give that right to Ramesh or will you give it to Suresh? Same question. In that case, it is saying keep in abeyance. Keep in abeyance मतलब क्या? Hold पे रख दो. Hold पे रख दो. Keep in abeyance any offer of right shares under this section or issue of fully paid up bonus shares. अगर आप bonus shares issue करने वाले हो, रुक जाओ. अगर आप right shares issue करने वाले हो, रुक जाओ. जब तक आप क्या नहीं कर लेते, जब तक आप till the time you don't do what? Till the time you don't register such thing. Swati is saying, sir, voice is not coming, sir. Who else is facing voice का problem? Anyone else जिसको voice का problem है? स्वाति, किसी को वॉइस की प्रॉब्लम नहीं है दोस्त, प्लीज आप बाद में उसको यूट्यूब में वापस देख लेना, वापस से नहीं एक्सप्लेन कर पाएंगे बिकॉज किसी और को वॉइस का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. मस्त वॉइस आ रहा है सर, कहता है अंकित. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट गाइज, नेक्स्ट एंड द लास्ट पॉइंट, कम ऑन. पनिशमेंट फॉर फेलियर टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट डिविडेंड, वेरी इजी, खत्म हो गया. सुनो सर, डिविडेंड हाउ मेनी डेज, विद इन हाउ मेनी डेज डू यू हैव टू पे डिविडेंड? डिविडेंड हैज टू बी पेड विद इन 30 days. Okay, so where a dividend is declared, within 30 days you will have to pay. How will you pay, sir? Suppose you are paying in say electronic mode, e mode से अगर आप पेमेंट कर रहे हो तो 30 days में तो मेरे बैंक अकाउंट में आ जाना चाहिए. बट सर अगर आप वारंट से पेमेंट कर रहे हो, वारंट मतलब क्या? वो मेरे को एक पेपर भेजेंगे और वो पेपर ले जाके मैं बैंक में देके कैश ले लूंगा. और इफ दे आर मेकिंग पेमेंट वाया चेक, wherein they'll send me a check and then I'll go and get it encashed. So if they're sending via warrant, the company has to post such warrant within 30 days. देखो बॉस, अगर तुम इलेक्ट्रॉनिक बोर्ड से पेमेंट कर रहे हो तो आप 30 डेज के अंदर पेमेंट पहुंच जाना चाहिए. अगर आप डिविडेंड वारंट से पेमेंट कर रहे हो, दैट वारंट हैज टू बी पोस्टेड विद इन 30 डेज. अभी वो शेयर होल्डर के पास कब पहुंचा उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. ये तुम सुन नहीं रहे हो इसलिए तुम नहीं समझ रहे हो. सुनो, कंपनी है, शेयर होल्डर है, आपने डिविडेंड आज डिक्लेयर किया. What do you have to do within 30 days? So if you are paying via e-mode, then 30 days के अंदर paid हो जाना चाहिए. But if you are paying via warrant, then 30 days के अंदर you have to post. Post मतलब तुमने कुरियर में डाल दिया. अब वो सामने वाले के पास कब पहुंचा उससे हमको फर्क नहीं पड़ता, और सामने वाले ने उसका कैश जाके कब लिया उससे भी हमको फर्क नहीं पड़ता. All a company has to do is post the warrant within 30 days. Sir, this is a question that came in exam. So the responsibility of company is only to post it. The responsibility of company is only to post it, nothing else. But if within 30 days, if you are not able to pay, or if the warrant has not been posted to entitled shareholder, then there will be punishment. What will be the punishment, sir? Punishment will be to two parties. एक तो company खुद को punishment लगेगा, दूसरा every director who is knowingly a party to default. Every director, sir, usually what we used to read was officer in default. But here the punishment is on director who is knowingly a party to default. कि भाई 30 दिन के अंदर क्यों डिक्लेयर तो कर दिया था तूने, पेमेंट क्यों नहीं किया 30 दिन के अंदर. So in that case they can also go to jail, which is up to 2 years, sir. And मतलब जेल भी होगा, फाइन भी होगा, जरूर जेल होगा. एक्सटेंड अप टू 2 years तक का जेल होगा, 2 साल तक की जेल हो सकती है सारे डायरेक्टर्स को. एंड फाइन ऑफ नॉट लेस देन 1000 rupees per day for which the default continues. तो आपको 30 दिन के अंदर देना था, 30 डेज के अंदर देना था. फॉर एवरी डे आफ्टर दैट, 31st, 32nd, 33rd, ये हर दिन आपको एक दिन 1000 रुपए का क्या लगता जाएगा, फाइन लगता जाएगा ऑन दी ऑफिसर्स, ऑन दी ऑन दी डायरेक्टर्स ऑफ द कंपनी. नाउ फॉर द कंपनी व्हाट इज द पेनल्टी? द कंपनी हैज टू पे अ सिंपल इंटरेस्ट एट अ रेट ऑफ 18% per annum on every day of default. Did you understand? Sir, you will have to pay within 30 days. If you're not paying, you will have to pay, or you will have to post the warrant within 30 days. If you're not doing it, in that case, you will have to, the directors of the company who are in default will have to pay what? Will have to be imprisoned for up to 2 years. And sir, usually ना आप देखोगे यहाँ पे word और होता है. It's either jail or imprisonment or both. Sir, I'll tell you a basic difference. Penalties are of 4 kinds. One is jail only. कि भैया तुमको कोई फाइन नहीं लगेगा, तुम सिर्फ जेल जाओगे। ऐसा यूजुअली होता नहीं है। दूसरा होता है सिर्फ फाइन ओनली, मतलब तुमको जेल वेल नहीं होगा, सिर्फ पैसे देने पड़ेंगे, ऐसा होता है। तीसरा होता है जेल और फाइन और बोथ। मतलब क्या, इसमें तुम जेल भी जा सकते हो, या फिर तुम फाइन भी दे सकते हो, या फिर तुमको दोनों भी देना पड़ सकता है, एज द कोर्ट में डिसाइड। फोर्थ होता है जेल एंड फाइन। मतलब क्या, तुमको जेल भी जाना पड़ेगा और फाइन भी देना पड़ेगा, ऑप्शन नहीं है, जेल भी जाना पड़ेगा और फाइन भी देना पड़ेगा। ये 4 तरह का पेनल्टी होता है सर, ये याद कर लो, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ये 4 तरह का पनिशमेंट होता है। जब ये जेल एंड फाइन की बात आती है ना, इट इज अ वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट पनिशमेंट। इट इज अ वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट पनिशमेंट बिकॉज हियर जेल इज नॉट एन ऑप्शन एनीमोर। जेल तो तुम जाओगे, कितने समय के लिए जाओगे वो कोर्ट के हाथ में पावर रहता है, पर जाओगे तो जरूर तुम। ठीक है, ओके। So this is a penalty, then what? But however, sir, listen to me very carefully. Something which is now very important. Sir, if you declare, tell me one very logical thing. Company declared dividend here. इधर declare किया था. 30 days के अंदर it was supposed to pay. Okay. Now what it did was शुभम सिंघल का बैंक अकाउंट था. उनके पास जो बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल था, the bank account detail that HUL had, शुभम सिंघल का बैंक अकाउंट, उसमें they paid the money. उसमें they paid the money, but that money didn't reach that bank account. Why? Because for example, I had an account with RBL Bank, Ratnakar Bank. There is a bank, you may not have even heard of it. There is a bank called Ratnakar Bank. Now in that bank, for example, I didn't like that service, so I closed that bank account. Now I didn't tell the company that I have closed the bank account. Company tried to make the payment, but the money didn't come to me. In that case, is it company's mistake? Should the company or any of its directors be facing any penalty or fine? No, right? It is my mistake. It is not company's mistake. और दूसरा example मैं आपको देता हूँ. If this company wanted to pay dividend to Shubham Singhal said that, "Arey boss, taxation का issue है, don't pay to my account, pay to someone else's account." Whose account should we pay? I said, I have a younger brother in the name of Happy. मेरा छोटा भाई है, उसका नाम है Happy. सच में उसका नाम Happy है. तो I said Happy के अकाउंट में डाल दो. I said मेरे अकाउंट में मत डालो, Happy के अकाउंट में डाल दो. तो company said, okay, we will put it in Happy's account. Now when company said बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल दो, तो मैंने उनको हैप्पी का बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल दे दिया. Now when company tried to make the payment, it saw that the account number is incorrect. Now company tried to make the payment but could not make the payment, and then company came and told me that, boss Shubham, we are not able to make the payment to Happy's account because the account number is wrong. तो भाई अभी इसमें सुनो, Shubham had given a direction, ठीक है? The company tried to oblige the direction but could not comply with the direction. Now even if they were not able to comply with the direction, they tried to communicate it to us. They tried to communicate it to me, saying that, boss, we are not able to make your payment to Happy's account. So in this case, is the company responsible? No, sir, absolutely it is not responsible. So इसीलिए कंपनी को माफी मिल जाएगी. So what are we going to read now? प्रीति कह रही है मेरे भी छोटे भाई का नाम हैप्पी है. ओए हैप्पी सुनो. So the point that I'm trying to make here is we are going to read 5 points in which case company will not be responsible even if the dividend is not paid. बहुत आसान है सर, देखो. The dividend could not be paid by reason of the operation of law. Sir, operation of law, कोई बता सकता है क्या मतलब होता है operation of law का? जो भी समझ में है सर, operation of law का क्या मतलब हो सकता है? मतलब operation of law की वजह से dividend नहीं दे पा रहे हो, मतलब ऑपरेशन ऑफ लॉ की वजह से डिविडेंड नहीं दे पा रहे हो, मतलब बोलो सर. आपको एग्जाम्पल पता है? आपको एग्जाम्पल आता है? सर ऑपरेशन ऑफ लॉ अभी तो हमने पढ़ा था ना, ये एग्जाम्पल, कि अगर आपका शेयर ट्रांसफर हो रहा है एंड द ट्रांसफर हैज नॉट बीन रजिस्टर्ड येट, सो लॉ सेज दैट डोंट मेक द पेमेंट. तो बिकॉज ऑफ ऑपरेशन ऑफ लॉ यू आर नॉट मेकिंग द पेमेंट, यू आर इन कंप्लायंस ऑफ लॉ, यू आर नॉट मेकिंग द पेमेंट, देन डोंट मेक द पेमेंट. है ना? दूसरा, shareholder has given directions to the company regarding payment of dividend, and those directions cannot be complied with and the same has been communicated to him. Sir, the shareholder had told me that don't pay me directly, pay to Happy's account. We were not able to make the payment to Happy's account, and we have communicated this to Shubham. In that case, the company is not responsible. Sir, be careful. There are 3 conditions. There are 3 conditions here. First condition is that the shareholder had given an instruction. Look at the 3 words that I have highlighted. Shareholder had given instruction. First condition is shareholder had given instruction. direction, that direction you could not comply with, and you have communicated the same to that shareholder, then in that case there is no problem. Third case, there is a dispute regarding right to receive dividend. There is a dispute regarding right to dividend. Again, the same example can be taken. Ramesh transferred share to Suresh. Ramesh कह रहा है मेरे को dividend दो, Suresh कह रहा है मेरे को dividend दो. In that case, there is a dispute, and in that case of dispute, we don't know whom to pay. Or I'll give you a different example. Sir, for example, there was a father, and there were 3 sons. Death of this father happened, and the shares were supposed to transfer to the elder son. But there was a dispute between 3 sons as to नहीं भाई elder brother बोल रहा है नहीं मेरे को होना चाहिए, younger brother बोल रहा है नहीं मेरे को होना चाहिए. अभी clarity नहीं है कि तीनों में से कौन से बेटे को dividend मिलेगा. So there is a dispute regarding the right to receive dividend. In that case, you will not pay dividend, and that is not a problem of the company. Fourth, if the dividend has been lawfully adjusted by the company against any sum due from shareholder. Sir, this is a very important point. Sir, if the company was supposed to receive some money from the shareholder, and the company was supposed to pay money to the shareholder in the form of dividend, इन दोनों को अगर आप adjust कर देते हो, and such adjustment is lawful, मतलब legally allowed, तो फिर sir this will not be considered as non-payment. The dividend has been lawfully adjusted by the company against any sum due from the company. मैं आपको समझाता हूं, सुनो. Sir, if the company had issued shares of rupees 10 per share, ठीक है, 10 रुपए पर शेयर का कंपनी ने शेयर्स इशू किया था. It said that in first call, we will ask for rupees 5. In second call, we will ask for rupees 5. Okay. Now, in first call, they asked for rupees 5. वो मिल गया, सबका आ गया. In second call, when they asked for rupees 5, everyone else paid. But there was this one guy, Ankit, who did not pay this rupees 5 per share. कितने shares थे, sir, अंकित के पास? Ankit had 100 shares. And he was supposed to pay rupees 5 per shares. मतलब he was supposed to pay rupees 500, but he did not pay rupees 500. Okay, good, no problem. हम अंकित से मंगवाए जा रहे हैं, वो नहीं दे रहे, ठीक है. After that, what happened? Some time later, the company declared a dividend of rupees 5 per share. Company बोला 5 रुपए per share का dividend दूंगा मैं. Now tell me, does it make sense to pay this dividend to Ankit? कैसे दोगे भाई उसको? उसने तो पैसा ही नहीं दिया है. So what you can do is you can very well declare this dividend, but you will declare this dividend. अंकित का जो 500 रुपए का dividend था ना, you will knock off against this 500 रुपए. तो आप ऐसा दिखा दोगे कि ये 500 रुपए मेरे को अंकित से मिल गया है, और आप अंकित को डिविडेंड का पेमेंट नहीं करोगे. और तब अगर आप अंकित को डिविडेंड का पेमेंट नहीं कर रहे हो, दिस इज नॉट अ कॉन्ट्रावेंशन ऑफ लॉ, एंड हेंस दिस इज वेरी वेल अलाउड. द डिविडेंड has been lawfully adjusted by the company against any sum due from the shareholder. For example, adjustment of calls and arrears, or for any other reason the failure to pay dividend or the post the warrant within the period time under this was not due to the default or part of the company. कोई भी और कारण जो कंपनी की गलती नहीं थी, तो उसके लिए company will not have to do what? Not have to bear any consequences. Sir, there are 5 points. पहला, because of operation of any law. दूसरा, you received any direction and you were not able to comply with such direction and you communicated the same. तो यहाँ पे D के 3 points हैं. उसके बाद, if there was any dispute, there is a dispute regarding right to receive dividend. Fourth, the dividend was lawfully adjusted. तो fourth है adjustment अगर हो गया. Fifth अगर है any other reason. तो सर, आप ऐसे लाडो करके बना सकते हो. नहाना इस देश लाडो वाला लाडो. लाडो क्या सर? Operation of law. If there was any dispute, any directions was issued, any adjustment was made, or any other default which was not a default on the part of the company. या फिर सर अगर लाडो आपको नहीं जम रहे, तो यहाँ पे मैंने एक बकवास सा मेमोरी टेक्निक बनाया है, पर ये समझ लो बकवास सा मेमोरी टेक्निक ही बहुत अच्छा याद रहता है. सर, लॉ के डायरेक्शन में जाओगे तो डिस्प्यूट नहीं होगा, पर अगर बुक्स में एडजस्टमेंट या पेमेंट में डिफॉल्ट करोगे तो दिक्कत होगी. बहुत डिफिकल्ट है सर, जाने दो. आप लाडो याद कर लो. LADDO. L लॉ, A adjustment, D dispute, D directions, O any other things which is not in default of the law. सर, ये निधि कंपनी वाला पॉइंट में नहीं समझा रहा हूं, और ये वाला पॉइंट में समझा दिया. एंड दैट इज हाउ वी एंड आवर चैप्टर ऑफ डिविडेंड. अ वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर, अ वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर. आई हैव शेड्यूल्ड अ रिविजन फॉर chapter 5, 6 and 7 on my YouTube channel. 5, 6 and 8. 5, 6 and 8 on my YouTube channel. एक आज है, एक कल है, एक परसों है सर. एक आई थिंक 30 मिनट्स और 1 आवर, इसमें हम पूरा पूरा चैप्टर का रिवीजन कर देंगे. मक्खन की तरह याद हो जाएगा, मक्खन की तरह. ओके, सो गाइज, that's it. Take a break. It's 8:51. I will see you at 9:05. And after that, we will finish some questions from the question bank. And that will be it from my end. And I'll see you later. After this, I will not be able to take chapter 9 and 10. That is not in my schedule. I will be seeing you again next month for Negotiable Instrument Act. Okay. So see you after a break. 9:05. See you. Bye. Hey guys, are you back? Are you back? आए क्या वापस? क्या करके आए ब्रेक में? झपकी मारे, पढ़ाई करे, क्या करे? हम क्यों बताए सर आपको? Why should we tell you? Why should we tell you? Yes, guys. So what I have on screen in front of you is question bank for chapter 8. This is basically a compilation of all the questions that have come in our past paper of ICAI. Past paper of ICAI, it can be RTP, it is MTP, it can be ICAI module, it can be anything. कहीं भी ICAI ने practice paper कुछ भी डाला, everything has been compiled here from starting from May 2018, and this is under progress. Now we have uploaded chapter 8. This is for chapter 8. है ना? Gradually we will upload for other chapters also. This is for chapter 8, right? So what this for chapter 8 I have uploaded on your ICAI का website. Okay, I just did upload ICAI के साथ. उसके आगे के chapters will be prepared in the month of July. So you stay in touch with me, and I'll, you'll get access to these notes also. I'll, as and when I keep making them chapter wise, I'll keep uploading them probably on my website, or you'll keep getting them. Okay. Now, in this question bank, I have marked some question that I want to discuss with you. It is basically a practice, nothing else. Aram se padho, you know every concept. We'll just easily read, just understand the concept and keep moving forward. Okay. So you will read question. I'll give you time to read question. At the same time, I will also read question. As soon as I'm done reading the question, slowly, I'll start discussing. So you don't have time to do too much of time pass. When I say start, get started reading the question bank on my screen. Okay. Let's start with question number 1. Start. Done. Let's discuss question number 1. It says that a company is declaring dividend. It has profit in the current year. And एक बार रुक जाओ, तुम लोगों को सब okay. So अच्छा, I have a question. Why are you asking for chapter 7 so much? I have a question. Just explain to me once. Why are you asking for notes of chapter 7 so much? Because I have not taught it, but फिर भी it had happened in the last batch also. Why are you asking for chapter 7 का note so much? बोलो बोलो, tell me. सर चैप्टर 7 बिल्कुल ऊपर से गया है. इट्स अ टफ वन. ओके, और बताओ. ठीक है. Okay, guys, listen. So first question, whether they are asking whether it is okay if they don't transfer to reserve. The answer is absolutely okay. The answer is very simple. What they are saying is that if it is completely the discretion of the company. If they want to transfer, they can transfer. If not, that is also fine. So there is no problem at all. Second, Karan, अच्छा पढ़ो एक बार पहले आप. ओके ओके ओके, आई गॉट इट, ठीक है, किसी को बुरा भला मत बोलो दोस्तों, ठीक है। ओके गाइस, करण को कितने पैसे मिलने चाहिए? कंपनी सेइंग दैट करण हैज टू गिव कंपनी कॉल इन अरियर्स। हाउ मच? 5,000 इक्विटी शेयर पे 10 रुपए पर शेयर के हिसाब से 50,000 is to be paid to company in the name of arrears. Now company has to declare dividend. कितना? 5 लाख का 10%, that is 50,000 का डिविडेंड। सो 50,000 देना है, 50,000 लेना है, क्या एडजस्ट कर सकते हैं? सर एडजस्ट कैसे करेंगे? 30 डेज के अंदर तो डिविडेंड पे करना होता है, नहीं पे करोगे तो आप पे पेनल्टी लग जाएगी। बट अरे बॉस, यू कैन एडजस्ट, यू रिमेंबर द 5 exceptions, लाडो। एल, इफ यू by operation of law; A, if you lawfully adjust; D, dispute; D, directions issued by the registered shareholder; and 5, fifth, other, any other which is not the default of the company. So lawfully if you are adjusting, then it is allowed, and calls in arrears can be lawfully adjusted, and hence it is absolutely fine. So very easy question, sir. Let's do 2-3 more questions. Sir, this is one question which came in 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 8 अलग अलग रेफरेंसेस आए सर क्वेश्चन के। एक बार क्वेश्चन पढ़ो। गाइज, आईसीआई मॉड्यूल, एमटीपी, इतने सारे जगह आए हैं और कितना आसान क्वेश्चन है देखो। इट सेज अ कंपनी हैज लॉस इन द करेंट ईयर, इट हैड डिक्लेयर्ड इन द डिविडेंड इन द पास्ट 3 years 7%, 11% एंड 12%, एंड इंटरिम डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर करना चाहती है इन द करेंट ईयर। So when there is loss in the current year and you want to declare interim dividend, you will have to have a maximum rate. Maximum rate कितना होगा? पिछले 3 साल का एवरेज। So 7, 11 and 12 का एवरेज आता है 10%. So maximum you can declare 10%, but here the company wants to declare 12%. 12% cannot be declared was interim dividend. Maximum 10% interim dividend can be declared. Very easy and very repetitive question. ये question आता है तो आता है 2 मार्क का, और सोचो क्या सॉलिड स्कोरिंग है। मतलब ऐसा एकदम एमसीक्यू जैसा स्कोरिंग टॉपिक है, एकदम आसानी से मिल गया आपको 2 मार्क। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन सर, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। What is the next question? Next question is that, boss, 20% rate पे you want to declare dividend, but however the company has defaulted in repayment of deposit. We read section 123 का 6 आज मैंने आपको सुबह सुबह पढ़ाया, that if the company has not complied with provision of section 73 and 74. 74 is about repayment of deposit that you had accepted before the commencement of this act. If you have not complied with the provision of this act, you will not be allowed to declare dividend as long as you do not comply with those provisions. So here the company will not be allowed to declare dividend because it has not complied with the provision of section 73 and section 74. समझे sir? Sir, did you understand? You will have to read the question along with me, huh? Sir, next question पढ़ो। ये रहा। सर इसका आंसर क्या है? द कंपनी वाज सपोज टू पे डिविडेंड विद इन 30 days. क्या ये जो पेमेंट इन्होंने 45 days में किया, क्या ये किसी एक्सेप्शन में फॉल करता है? लाडो के एक्सेप्शन में? नो, राइट, दिस डजंट फॉलो इन एनी एक्सेप्शन. So you will have to face the consequences. What is the consequences? Company will have to pay a penalty of 18% per annum, simple interest, and officer in default will have to be go to jail up to 2 years and with a fine, right? for 10,000 rupees per day after the first day. So this is the consequences that the company, every director who knowingly is a party will have to face. Okay, because they were supposed to make the payment within 30 days, but they did not make the payment within 30 days. Okay, so they have mentioned the consequences of section 127, wherein director who is knowingly is a party will have to go to jail and will be liable for punishment. So what they have written is consequences क्या है, 2 साल का जेल होगा, 1,000 रुपए का फाइन होगा और सिंपल इंटरेस्ट देना पड़ेगा कंपनी को 18% पर एनम का, बिकॉज दे आर रिक्वायर्ड टू मेक द पेमेंट विद इन 30 डेज, बट दे डिड नॉट मेक द पेमेंट विद इन 30 डेज. तो एक क्वेश्चन जिससे अपना सेक्शन 127 का भी रिवीजन हो गया. गाइज, यू आर नॉट एक्सपेक्टेड टू रिमेंबर द पनिशमेंट एज ऑफ नाउ. यू टेक दिस क्वेश्चन एज अ रिविजन कि हाँ बस हाँ प्रोविजन का रिविजन हो गया, इससे मैं फिर याद कर लूंगा. मतलब लर्न द हैबिट ऑफ बिकमिंग हैप्पी व्हेन यू आर फॉरगेटिंग कि भूल गया, अरे फिर याद करने मिलेगा. सोचो, there is an amazing series called as Friends. There is an amazing series called as Friends. Friends is something which is a very, 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 very amazing series. Like, you should watch it. You should definitely watch it. Okay. Now, when you talk about Friends, I personally would be very happy if I forget all the episodes of Friends. I remember Friends इतना अच्छे से कि भाई मैं क्या बताऊं. मतलब if I listen to some word ना, I have a brain which has the script of Friends का डायलॉग. Friends के जितने भी डायलॉग है ना, उसका पूरा ऐसा स्क्रिप्ट लिखा हुआ है मेरे दिमाग में. तो उधर जाके कंट्रोल एफ हो जाता है. कंट्रोल एफ ये वाला है क्या Friends में. So that kind of thing I remember about Friends. I would be very happy if I forget Friends. Why? Because then I watch it again and I then get to be happy again. अभी ये पढ़ाई में करना ऐसा थोड़ा, सर इतना ज्यादा पढ़ाकू है नहीं हम. हाँ, लगते होंगे थोड़े बहुत, पर इतना पढ़ाकू होते तो रॉकेट साइंस की पढ़ाई कर लेते हम. हाँ, वो मेरे को पता है, बट अभी आईपीसीसी क्लियर तो करना है इंटरमीडिएट, तो वो एटीट्यूड लाना पड़ेगा थोड़ा सा वैसा. ठीक है. नाउ गाइस, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, रीड द क्वेश्चन अलोंग विथ मी. सर, दिस इज अ गुड क्वेश्चन. दिस इज अ गुड क्वेश्चन. एक बार और पढ़ने का टाइम दे रहा हूं, एक बार आराम से पढ़ के दिमाग चलाओ. प्लीज सो मत, एक बार दिमाग चलाओ. यहां गलती करोगे जिंदगी भर याद रहेगा. Sir, my question to you is whether RST Limited has defaulted under compliance of section 124. क्या RST Limited ने 124 का डिफॉल्ट किया है? सर, 124 क्या था? 123 था डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ डिविडेंड, 124 था ट्रांसफर ऑफ फंड्स टू फर्स्ट अनपेड डिविडेंड अकाउंट और वहां से IEPF. If you remember the provision, there was a provision that if you remember the provision, there was a provision that when a company declares dividend, if you remember, there was a provision, when a company declares dividend, within 30 days it has to pay. But if it could not pay within 30 days, within 7 days it will have to transfer to unpaid dividend account. But there was one more provision that जब वो ट्रांसफर कर देते हैं, as soon as they transfer that money, within 90 days, they will have to prepare a statement wherein they will show what is the name of that particular dividend holders, what is the dividend amount that has to be paid, and what is the address of that particular shareholder. These 3 details they will have to upload on their website. Do we have any information about that in the question? Do we have any information about that in the question? No. So sir, it will be safe for us to assume that the company has not filed that statement within 90 days, and hence the allegation of the shareholder is correct. जो shareholder बोल रहे हैं ना that the RST is liable for non-compliance of section 124. Yes sir, they must have not filed the statement and hence it is talking about non-compliance. Sir, let's read the answer of this together. Let's see how ICI has presented the answer. As per section 124, where a dividend has been declared by a company but has not been paid or claimed within 30 days from the date of declaration, the company shall within 7 days from the date of expiry of the said period of 30 days transfer the total amount of dividend which remains unpaid or unclaimed to unpaid dividend account. यही कह रहा है 30 days में if you are not able to make the payment within 7 days you transfer it to UDA. Sir, can we write UDA in exam? Can we write UDA in exam? No, you cannot write UDA in exam. There is one thing, however, that you can do. In the first paragraph, when you use the word UDA, you can mention bracket में UDA. ऐसा you can refer, because you have to tell the examiner also na, boss, I am using UDA because my teacher told me that UDA is for unpaid dividend account. अभी how would you know? किसी और faculty ने किसी को बोला UPDAC ऐसा लिख लो unpaid account को, unpaid dividend account को. So how will the examiner know? So you will have to define this first. आपने define कर दिया, that was in this answer. Going forward, I will use unpaid dividend account की जगह UDA. Now once you have defined this, you can use it. Okay, next. The company shall, within a period of 90 days of making the transfer, prepare a statement containing the name, address, and unpaid dividend amount, and such statement shall be uploaded on the website. Accordingly, in the given situation, RST Limited failed to give statement of unpaid unclaimed dividend and so liable for non-compliance of 124. Sir, this is an assumption made in the answer. Because it is not given in the question that they filed the statement, they assume that the statement must not have been filed. Up vice versa, you can always in your answer write your assumptions. You can always in your answer write down assumption that as the question is silent as to whether the statement has been filed or not, I am assuming that the statement has not been filed and hence there is a non-compliance of section 124. Or you can say I am assuming that the statement has been filed and hence there is a compliance of section 124 and hence the allegation of the shareholders is incorrect. Okay, any person claiming to be entitled to any money transferred under section 124(1) to the UDA of the company may apply to the company for payment of the money claimed. Since RST Limited failed to comply with the requirement of section as to preparing of the statement, so shall be punishable with a fine which shall not be 5 lakh rupees but which may extend to 25 lakh rupees and every officer 1 lakh rupees se 5 lakh rupees. Samjhe sir? Basic penalty they have written and this is the answer. Let's take one more question and then we will end the session. I want to take a tricky question. I want to take a tricky question for you guys. Chalo, on your screen, start. Guys, I'll actually give you 5 minutes. Isko padho, read this question and try to find out the answer yourself as to wo maths ka problem hai ye. Find out the final number that you will write in your exam. Let whatever feelings you have, whatever mistakes you think you will be doing, just keep doing so that only then you'll learn. Read the question आराम से and solve it in your notes. Don't write law, बस maths में solve करो. मेरे को बताओ कितना dividend declare कर सकता है. अगर किसी का हो जाए तो मेरे को डन डन का मैसेज देना तो मेरे को समझ आ जाएगा कि हो गया. ये मैं ऊपर खुद सॉल्व कर रहा हूं, कॉपी मत करो, आप अपना करो. Guys, people have already started sending their answer. I'll maximum wait for 2 more minutes and then I'll start explaining. Please make your mistakes here so that you don't make it in your paper. Please, come on. Himanshu correct, Akash Neel correct, Pooja wrong. Rekha correct. Archie wrong, Pooja wrong, Jyoti wrong. Lokesh wrong. Isha wrong. The answer is maximum. Guys, second amount कितना draw कर सकते हो? Draw now set off the current year loss of 20 lakh. Listen to me. First is about rate, last 3 years ka rate. But they have not declared any dividend in the last 3 years. So instead of taking the zero, you will not completely ignore this provision. This sub rule shall not apply if any dividend has not been declared in any of the preceding financial year. So this provision is not applicable only because dividend was not declared. Now drawn amount, if you talk about drawn amount, 10% of paid up share capital plus free reserve. Paid up share capital is 100 lakh, free reserve is 150 lakh. So it comes to 25 lakhs. But out of this 25 lakhs, what you will have to do is you will reduce 20 lakhs, which is current year losses. And then you will have a balance of 5 lakh rupees. So only 5 lakh rupees is what you can pay. And then third condition is balance left in your reserve. So if you remove 5 lakh rupees, in your reserve, there will still be 145 lakh rupees, which is significantly high. Because how much balance do you need to maintain? You need to maintain 15% of your paid up share capital, which is 15 lakh rupees. So aram se honge, we to have 145 lakh rupees. So this provision, this set off was very important point. But guys, even more important is how do you present it in your paper? So ek bar aram se mere sath answer read karo and keep learning. Do not expect anything to come out of your mind. Just keep learning. Okay. See. Now you will have a confusion, sir. Condition 2 and 3. Why are you merging condition 2 and 3? I'll show you why. Okay. See, in a given case, AB Limited has not made adequate profits during the current year, but it still wants to declare dividend. Now, see, guys, when the word written is dividend, you will never assume it is final interim dividend. Unless and until interim dividend alag se likha hai, you will always assume it is a final dividend. So यहाँ पे सिर्फ dividend लिखा है, so it is final dividend. And also उन्होंने लिखा भी है financial year का dividend है, so it has to be a final dividend. Therefore, rule 3, this is a very important rule that the rule number also you'll have to by heart. Rule 3 of company declaration and payment of dividend rule 2014 will be applied. According to the said rule, the required conditions are condition 1, 2, 3, 4. ही सर आपने तो 3 कंडीशन बोला था, इन्होंने 4 कंडीशन बोला है, आप तो गलत बोले. रुको जरा, सबर करो, देखो एक बार. Condition 1. The rate of dividend declared shall not exceed the average of rate of the dividend was declared by the company in the 3 years immediately preceding that year. Since the company has not declared any dividend in the preceding 3 years, hence the condition 1 is not applicable only in this case. Okay. Here I want to take a very important query. Okay. Sir, if we are declaring financial year 21-22 ka dividend, and here we have 2021, 19-20, 18-19. These are the 3 years that we have. You said that this rule will not, this rate wala rule will not apply in a case where dividend has not been declared in any of the preceding 3 years. What does it means? Case 1, dividend was not declared in any of the 3 years. Case 2, dividend was declared in these both years, but it was not declared in this year. Or case 3, dividend was declared in this 2 years, but not in the middle year. Case 4, it was not declared in the first year, but it was declared in these 2 years. My question is, one point is very clear. In case 1, जब पिछले तीनों किसी भी साल में डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर नहीं हुआ, will that rate का provision be applicable? No, which we saw in this example. इसमें हम देख ही रहे हैं ना, there was no dividend declared in any of the 3 preceding financial year, so this rate का rule will not be applicable. But for the other 3 cases, let's read this again. The rate, since the company has not declared any dividend in the preceding 3 financial years, hence condition 1 is not applicable. My question to you is, in case 2 or case 3 or case 4, will you see the rate wala condition or will you not see the rate wala condition? What is your understanding? Will you see the case rate wala condition or will you not see the rate wala condition? Bolo sir. Bolo. Sir, in these 3 cases. So this is very controversial, and actually I can fight in both the directions. Okay, I can fight in both the directions. Actually, let me get back to you on this. Let me understand what is ICAI stand on this, and accordingly I'll get back to you. Okay, I see we have our ma'am here, so we will actually check with her and I'll get back to you. Okay, now coming back. मैंने आपके मन में डाउट छोड़ा. I promise I'll resolve it for you. Just stay tuned. What I'll do is simple. Listen to me very carefully. What I'll do is this question, I'll frame terms of a question, and then I'll also write an answer to it. This will be a 1-page document. I'll upload it in your PDF documents by today. Okay? तो शाम को एक बार चेक कर लेना, कल सुबह तक चेक कर लेना, नहीं मिला तो ICI में query. ठीक है? Listen to me very carefully. What I'm saying is, I will upload the answer to this in the PDF upload file in form of a question. So do read that question and answer. आपको problem भी समझ आ जाएगा, answer भी समझ आ जाएगा. But coming back to our case, condition 1 we discussed. Condition 2 क्या है, sir? The total amount to be drawn from such accumulated profit shall not exceed 10% of paid up share capital and free reserves as appearing in the latest audited financial statement. In this case, it is 250 lakh. आपको 25 lakh आ गया, वो आपको पता है. Condition 3, the amount so drawn. The amount so drawn. Which amount did you draw, sir? This 25 lakhs only you draw, na? Shall be first be utilized to set off the losses incurred in financial year in which dividend is declared before any dividend in respect of equity share is declared. So these two conditions are read together, sir. After you draw the amount, you will have to first set off losses. The amount drawn as stated above is 25 lakh. Less loss for the financial year is 20 lakh, and hence the amount will be restricted to 5 lakh rupees. And then condition 4, the balance of the reserve shall not fall below 15% of paid up share capital. Aapka, you are drawing 5 lakh rupees, your 5 lakh rupees ke baad the balance will be 145. 15% is 15 lakh rupees, so it is very much more than 15 lakh rupees. Hence, by the following provision, maximum amount that can be declared is 5 lakh rupees. Did you understand? Did you understand? Okay, guys. Cholo. I think that's it from my end. I hope this session was really helpful for you. I hope you learned a lot and I hope you really enjoyed the session. I will see you in the next class, which will be for negotiable instrument. Until then, the other chapters will be taken by other faculties. I really hope you enjoyed the sessions. Okay. In case of any queries that you have, you can reach out to ICI. They are always, boss, please try to understand there are so many students who are using the lectures for free, right? And they have so many queries, and institute is being kind enough to provide you all those services for free. Okay, so please appreciate their effort, and at the same time, if they are not able to respond to queries, give them some time. Even if they don't respond in that time, be capable enough or be matured enough to understand that they have so many queries pending and they are working. Okay, वो ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि 500 लोगों को बैठा दिया कि इंटर के लॉ के क्वेरी सिर्फ एड्रेस करो. देयर आर लिमिटेड 2-3 फैकल्टीज एंड दे actually put in effort to answer your queries, so they are trying. Okay, because why am I saying this? Because there is this one guy or someone in name of Sandhya, I think, if I'm not wrong, and he or she, I don't remember the name, he or she is saying 5th June se query pending hai, koi reason hoga dost. Okay, and at times what they also do is they send the questions or queries to some expert for their opinion so that they don't give you wrong answers, right? So give them that, benefit of ye. And if you have any queries, just reach out to them. They will definitely answer you. Very happy C8. They said, okay, advance mein wish kar rahe ho. Thank you. I hope I get to wish that to you wish the same to you soon. But I hope you enjoyed the session. And I've already uploaded this PDF. Please do solve the question bank today. And please also complete the chapter today. Okay. Thanks a lot for attending this session, guys. Study well. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.